Chapter 257. This place is really good. Sun Hao looked at the attic in front of him and nodded with satisfaction. Front yard, backyard, stream, pond, it had everything, just like a pavilion outside the world. Although it couldn't be compared with his own residence, it wasn't too different. At least it was much better than living in an inn. Rumeng, give me a plate of cherries, Sun Hao said. Yes, young master. Huang Rumeng waved her right hand, and a plate of red and black cherries was placed in front of Sun Hao. Each one exuded a tempting luster. A strong cherry fragrance came to his face. It made people salivate when they smelled it. After cleaning, Rumeng, sit down and eat together. Leave the seeds, Sun Hao said. Yes, young master. Sun Hao picked up a cherry and put it in his hand to look at it. He saw that above the cherry, wisps of five-colored airflow kept lingering. The white airflow is spiritual energy, and the five-colored airflow is immortal energy. I can see it clearly, why can't I turn it into my own use, AI? Sun Hao sighed secretly and put the cherry into his mouth. He bit it in one bite. The red and black juice burst into his entire mouth cavity, and a refreshing feeling surged through his whole body. Chewing lightly, between the teeth, it was full of the fragrance of the pulp. It was delicious. Soon after, a plate of cherries had been eaten clean by the two. This world's cherries are so delicious. Let's go, Rumeng, let's go plant trees. Yes, young master. The two walked into the backyard, took out a hoe, dug a pit, and buried the seeds. Fertilizing, watering, every action was carried out in an unstable line. I will let you grow fruits today. Sun Hao looked at the ancient zither in front of him, and the corners of his mouth rose. Zheng! He plucked the strings and began to play. Under his control, wisps of five-colored light flew out of his fingertips and entered the cherry seed. Kacha! Just in an instant the seed shell broke open. The buds grew rapidly at a speed visible to the naked eye. Small saplings spread their branches and leaves and expanded rapidly. It looked like a magic trick. It was extremely magical. Huang Rumeng looked at this scene, her eyes flashing, and her eyes were full of worship. Suddenly, buzz, there was a shock. Huang Rumeng took out a communication jade slip, opened it, and couldn't help but frown. He saw that the message jade slip was written, Immortal, according to my investigation these days, the Divine Turtle Clan has sent 100,000 elite troops to the Tianluo continent. They must have reached some kind of agreement with the Dragon Clan. Damn it! Huang Rumeng clenched her fists, her face full of anger. It's all my fault for being too soft-hearted. If I had known earlier, I would have uprooted the dragon race. I can only blame myself for not being strong enough to break the primordial bell. Otherwise, how could something like this happen? Since Grasshopper dares to act so rashly, he must have absolute confidence. With my current strength, I'm afraid it'll be difficult to capture all of them in one fell swoop. There might even be danger. I need to borrow strength. Huang Rumeng secretly made a decision. She swept her divine sense and enveloped the entire Supreme Court. Phew, after she glanced at Sun Hao, her figure quietly disappeared in place. Supreme Court in a secret room underground. Zhongli Lang's group of 3 was just about to leave. Swish, at this moment, the sound of something piercing through the air rang out. Immediately after, a piece of paper rapidly flew over and floated before Zhongli Lang. Who? The 3 released their divine senses and scanned the surroundings, but did not find any figure. Who sent this? When they picked up the piece of paper and looked at it, the pupils of the 3 suddenly shrank. What? The dragon race wants to slaughter my Tianluo continent? Who the hell gave us this news, and we can't find any trace? Several people's faces changed slightly, and they kept thinking. I know. Damn it, I should have thought of it earlier. This must have been given to us by the young master. AI, the young master did not care about breaking our Tao heart, and pointed out to us 3 times and 5 times, but we were stupid and didn't understand. Zhongli Lang and the other two beat their chests and stamped their feet, annoyed. It seems that the young master wants us to fight against the dragon race. Zhongli Lang said. That's right, but with the strength of our human race, how can we fight against it? How? Mu Haoran said. First Dean, can you invite your Zhongli family's ancestor over? Xian Yuan asked. Absolutely not. Zhongli Lang directly waved his hand and refused. With my ancestor's personality, if he learns that Zhongli Jing Tian was killed, he will definitely capture me and then find trouble with the young master. If he learns that the dragon race slaughtered the Tianluo continent, maybe he will help the dragon race, Zhongli Lang said. Hearing this, Xian Yuan and Zhongli Lang sighed secretly. Then what should we do? Without an immortal, we are definitely not the opponent of the dragon race. Mu Haoran said. I don't think there is any need to worry. Since the young master has arranged for the Great Dean, he will naturally think of this. By the way, didn't the young master give us the immortal wine? Presumably, the young master wants us to drink it and break through to the immortal realm. Xian Yuan said. Are you kidding? Break through to the immortal realm? Can you resist the immortal tribulation? Mu Haoran said. Of course we can resist it. Our two holy lands will protect us. Xian Yuan said. Hearing this, Mu Haoran nodded again and again. What about the Great Dean? The Great Dean has been preparing for many years, and he must have arranged everything in the Forbidden Land. There should be no problem to cross the immortal tribulation, Xian Yuan said. Zhongli Lang's face showed a touch of surprise when he heard this. Xian Yuan family head, you have inquired very clearly. Haha, you have to care more about old friends. Well, let's separate now and go back to cross the tribulation. Great Dean, you go and inquire about the whereabouts of the dragon race. If you need any help, our two families will fully support you. You must act immediately, understand? Xian Yuan said. Well, I understand, I will go and arrange it immediately. Then go to the Forbidden Land to cross the tribulation. Speaking of this, Zhongli Lang's face showed a touch of worry. Great Dean, do you still have something to say? Xian Yuan asked. Xian Yuan family head, this old man has one more thing to ask. Please speak. Now, the young master lives in the Forbidden Land. Is there any way to ask the young master to leave? Zhongli Lang asked. Haha, Xian Yuan looked up to the sky and laughed. What do you mean? Why are you laughing at this old man? Zhongli Lang was puzzled. You underestimate the young master too much. A mere immortal tribulation, what is it to the young master? You don't have to ask the young master to leave at all. Perhaps the young master will help you here. Xian Yuan said. What? The young master dares to resist the immortal tribulation. Isn't he afraid of attracting an even stronger thunder tribulation? Zhongli Lang's face was full of surprise. It seems that you still don't know how terrifying the young master is. Anyway, I advise you to never ask the young master. Do you understand? Let's go. After speaking, Xian Yuan and Mu Haoran walked out. Zhongli Lang looked at their backs, revealing a thoughtful expression. Chapter 258. It's done. Sun Hao looked at nearly 100 fruit trees full of cherries in front of him, and his eyes bloomed with a strange light. Each cherry tree was more than 10 meters high. Although it was not as good as the one planted at home, cherries hung all over the branches, extremely attractive. In terms of fruit alone, these 100 fruit trees had 10 times the number of fruit. Rumming, let's start making wine, Sun Hao said. Yes, young master. Huang Rumming waved her right hand, and cherries fell from the tree, flew into the sky, and floated there quietly. Hoo! The spring water gushed up, intertwined with the cherries, cleaning the dust. Boom! Thousands of large vats filled the backyard. The fruit fell into the large vat and was sealed for fermentation. Zheng Sun Hao began to play the guqin. The 5-colored light flew out of his fingertips and scattered into each large vat. Half a day later, Sun Hao stopped. On his forehead, Fine beads of sweat overflowed. I'm a little sleepy, I feel exhausted. Looks like this is my limit. And here I thought I could brew indefinitely. Take a break first. Sun Hao stood up, staggered, and almost fell. Young master, are you okay? Huang Ruming was startled, hurriedly ran forward, and helped Sun Hao up. Between her eyebrows there was worry. I'm fine, just a little tired, help me to rest for a while. Okay. Sun Hao fell on the bed and slept soundly. This sleep lasted for a day. Rumble, what woke Sun Hao up was the thunder above his head. Young master, you finally woke up. Huang Ruming threw herself into Sun Hao's arms, crying with joy. Ruming, I'm fine, is it going to rain? How about those wines? Young master, I've collected them all. How many bottles are there? More than 500,000 bottles. Huang Ruming said. So much? Sun Hao's eyes were full of brilliance. More than 500,000 bottles meant more than 500,000 blessing points, plus his current 120,000 blessing points. The total blessing points were completely more than half. It was worth it. Rumble, another clap of thunder rang out. This thunder is too loud. Sun Hao looked at the sky, showing a trace of displeasure. Withdrawing his gaze, Sun Hao looked at Huang Ruming. Ruming, let's go to Zhongfu Immortal City tomorrow to sell wine. Yes, young master. Meanwhile, in the sky, among the dark clouds, Sizzle, the thunder tribulation giant turned into an afterimage and kept shuttling through the dark clouds. His expression was like that of a mischievous child, incomparably happy. Every time it shuttled to a new place, it would let out an explosion. The entire world was shaking violently. Ha ha! The thunder tribulation giant let out a hearty laugh. My luck is just too good. Someone is actually undergoing the immortal tribulation. This time, I'm going to blast you until your soul scatters. Daring to fight against the heavens, this is your fate, ha ha. This is not the lightning tribulation forbidden zone. No one will protect you here. It's impossible for a supreme being to be here. At this point, the thunder tribulation giant looked up to the sky and laughed. We can definitely complete this year's sales. The hegemon will definitely reward me, ha ha. Little guy, are you trembling? Are you ready? The thunder tribulation giant stood amidst the dark clouds, its eyes emitting 2 bolts of lightning as it stared directly at Zhongli Lang. This glare was like the demonic eye of hell sweeping over. Zhongli Lang had goosebumps all over his body, and he trembled involuntarily. It seems that something is staring at me, so scary. What should I do? The power of this immortal tribulation seems to be dozens of times greater. Zhongli Lang muttered to himself, his face full of bitterness. From time to time, he glanced at Sun Hao's position, showing a pleading look. Hey, what is that little guy looking at? Do you still want someone to help you? Thinking like this, the thunder tribulation giant swept his gaze in Sun Hao's direction. Immediately, tap tap, his body took a few steps back and fell to the ground with a stagger. His face was full of horror. Supreme being, why are you here? Why? Wherever someone crosses the tribulation, it has something to do with you. Supreme being, don't be angry, I was wrong. I know what to do. After speaking, the thunder tribulation giant took out a thunder hammer, pulled out a ray of thunder light from it, and threw it at Zhongli Lang. After doing this, the thunder tribulation giant pierced through the void and disappeared. When he appeared again, he had already come to a certain space. On his face, it was full of bitterness. Hey, I can't complete this year's performance. I can only be scolded by the Supreme Ruler. Anyway, my performance is the worst every year, it doesn't matter. The thunder tribulation giant shook his head secretly and was about to lie down. A sound rang out. Looking up at a crystal ball, the thunder tribulation giant's pupils shrank. Someone crossed the immortal tribulation again? This time, it shouldn't be related to the Supreme Being, right? As long as I kill him, the the performance can be completed. I'm coming. The Thunder Tribulation Giant's figure flashed and instantly appeared above the Mu family mansion. He scanned the surroundings with his divine sense and confirmed that Sun Hao was not there. Then he began to laugh up to the sky. Haha, this year's performance can finally be completed. God is helping me. For the sake of long nights and many dreams, little guy, die. After speaking, the Thunder Tribulation Giant picked up the hammer, aimed at Mu Hauran, and struck down. A huge bolt of lightning cut through the night sky and fell directly on the Mu family mansion. In the sky, a layer of invisible ripples suddenly shook, wiping out the lightning. Mu Hauran was not injured at all. Blocked? A bit interesting. Little guy, next there are 107 left, each of which has doubled in power, be careful. After speaking, the Thunder Tribulation Giant struck down again. It was still wiped out, and it did not cause any harm to the Mu family. How is this possible? I don't believe it. The Thunder Tribulation Giant roared, and quickly waved the hammer. Dozens of lightning bolts fell at the same time, all blasting above the Mu family mansion. After a few wisps of electric light, it disappeared again. The Thunder Tribulation Giant's eyes widened, and his face was full of disbelief. He scanned the Mu family mansion with his divine sense and frowned slightly. This is the supreme holy land, my God. Not to mention the immortal tribulation, even the immortal King Tribulation may not be able to shake them. This supreme holy land has a familiar smell. This is the breath of the Supreme Being. Damn it, I dare to attack the place that the Supreme Being wants to protect, don't want to live anymore. Supreme Being, I'm sorry, I was wrong, I will leave immediately. After speaking, the Thunder Tribulation Giant penetrated the void and disappeared on the spot. Gone? Mu Hauran stared blankly at the clear sky, full of disbelief. Isn't it said that there are 108 immortal tribulation thunder? There are only 30 or so, and it's gone? Could it be that the legend is false? Impossible. Mu Hauran thought to himself, and the expression on his face became more and more shocked. Then there is only one possibility. The Thunder Tribulation Giant knows that this is the young master's method, and does not dare to destroy it. Unexpectedly, the Thunder Tribulation Giant is afraid of the young master. The young master is really terrifying. Chapter 259. Zhongfu Immortal City in a Tea House. A storyteller was surrounded by a group of cultivators. Who would have thought that on this trip to the Supreme Court, hundreds of thousands of cultivators would be trapped in a desperate situation? Not to mention Zhongli Jingtian, just the blood wolves he summoned are terrifying, no one is their opponent. You should know that the blood wolves are all at the Xian immortal level when they grow up, and his one is even more terrifying, reaching the earth immortal level. As soon as the blood wolf came out, all the cultivators were in a desperate situation and had no power to struggle. Guess what happened at this critical moment? At this point, the storyteller picked up the teacup and took a sip. Could it be that the godly cunning immortal descended and killed Zhongli Shuelang with his amazing magical power? The godly cunning immortal is really powerful, calculating everything and constantly saving us. A burst of exclamations kept ringing out. The faces of the cultivators were full of worship. The storyteller smiled and shook his head when he heard this. You are wrong, said the storyteller. Is it not the godly cunning immortal? Of course not. The storyteller smiled and shook his head. At this critical moment, a handsome young master descended from the sky. This young master, with his every move, carried the truth of the great Tao. At least one look, those blood wolves crawled on the ground, shivering. At the most, the blood wolf was controlled by that young master, threw Zhongli Jingtian down, and bit him fiercely. That scene was simply unbearable to look at. As soon as these words came out, the sound of gasping kept ringing out. My God, one look made the summoned beast bite back? He's too strong. In this world, there is actually such a strong person? Too awesome. This kind of young master, I really want to pay my respects. Who is he? The exclamations kept ringing out, and it took a long time to calm down. Finally, everyone's eyes fell on the storyteller. The storyteller smiled slightly and said, "Actually, what is this? Let me tell you, the next is the main show." As soon as Zhongli Jingtian saw that something was wrong, he immediately took out the summoning talisman and crushed it in an instant. What he summoned was the Hell Blood Wolf, the strength of the immortal king level. Just a wisp of aura released made all the cultivators crawl on the ground, unable to struggle at all. And at this critical moment, guess what? The storyteller paused for a moment. "What's wrong with you? Hurry up and say it. If you say it well, you'll definitely be rewarded." "That's right. It's too unkind of you to keep us in suspense." The storyteller smiled. At this critical moment, the Hell Blood Wolf actually fled. What? Escaped? Could it be that he was afraid of that young master? Didn't that mean that the young master was at least an immortal venerable? With a single thought, many people sucked in a breath of cold air and their bodies turned cold. Their hearts beat violently as if they were about to jump out of their throat. There's actually another immortal venerable in the human race? My ancestor. What's his name? I must pay a visit to him. Cries of surprise rang out continuously. Everyone had a fiery look on their faces. After a long time, everyone's gazes gathered on the storyteller. The storyteller stood up and cupped his fists at the crowd. "Everyone, I'm sorry. I have something to attend to at the last minute. Let's talk another day." "Hey, don't go. What's more important than making money? 10 spirit stones, go on." "That's right. Are you afraid that you won't have enough spirit stones? I also have 5 here." Soon, in front of the storyteller, there was a pile of spirit stones. The storyteller put away the spirit stones calmly and cupped his fists at the crowd. "Since you are so generous, then I have to risk my life to accompany the gentleman. According to my inquiries, the young master's name is Sun Hao, a popular man around the godly cunning immortal." The storyteller said, "Young Master Sun Hao? A popular man around the godly cunning immortal? No wonder he is so powerful, so that's how it is. In that case, as long as you have a good relationship with young Master Sun Hao, you will have a chance to see the godly cunning immortal. Of course that's possible. Where is young Master Sun Hao? I want to admire him." After the discussion, everyone focused their eyes on the storyteller again. "You don't know what happened these days?" The storyteller was shocked. "If we knew, would we still be here listening to you?" "That's right. These days, I don't know what's going on, but several of my friends are avoiding me." "Me too. They seem to have made a big fortune, afraid that I will divide it." Hearing this, the storyteller smiled slightly. "Let me tell you, it's because young Master Sun Hao is selling immortal wine. Those friends of yours who are hiding from you must be the ones who bought the immortal wine." The storyteller said, "What? Buying a bottle of immortal wine and still hiding from me? Is it necessary?" "That's right. Am I the kind of person who hasn't drunk immortal wine? Really, it's like people have disappeared. I can't find them." When the crowd was quiet, the storyteller continued to speak. "You guys only know one thing and don't know the other. Young Master Sun Hao is a popular man around the godly cunning immortal. How can the immortal wine he sells be comparable to ordinary immortal wine? According to my many inquiries, I learned a shocking piece of news. Anyone who buys immortal wine can participate in the godly cunning immortals test. Once they pass the test, they can see the godly cunning immortal. What does it mean to see the godly cunning immortal? You should be very clear, right?" The words fell. There was dead silence all around. Everyone's eyes widened, full of disbelief. Young Master Sun Hao was actually choosing people for the godly cunning immortal? Incredible, unimaginable. If I learn this news, I have a good chance to see the godly cunning immortal. Heavens, let me see young Master Sun Hao. Young Master Sun Hao, where are you now? Everyone's eyes were fixed on the storyteller. The storyteller shook his head slightly. Since yesterday, young Master Sun Hao has not come to Zhongfu Immortal City again. The selection must have been completed. As soon as these words came out, why did I have to be outside these days? Heavens, such a good opportunity just missed. Supreme good fortune, how can you leave me? All the cultivators were beating their chests and stamping their feet, remorseful. Not far from them, there was an old man sitting there, drinking tea and wiping cold sweat from time to time. Beside him sat a woman with a veil on her face. This old man was Sun Hao in disguise. There was no way, in order not to be recognized, he asked Ru Meng to help him dress up like this. Even the big wolf, he didn't dare to bring it with him. That red color was too conspicuous and could be recognized at a glance. These days, he sold wine in Zhongfu Immortal City, and it could be said that he was famous throughout Zhongfu Immortal City. Being famous should be a good thing. The problem was that these cultivators were too enthusiastic. One day, he was surrounded by a group of hot female cultivators, and the scene was out of control for a while. If it weren't for Ru Meng, he would have been torn apart by them on the spot. No, he tore his clothes apart. Then, they would definitely press him to the ground and pounce on him like wolves and tigers. The consequences were simply unimaginable. They were cultivators, although they looked quite fresh on the outside. But he couldn't be fooled by the appearance. Accidentally. Gotcha! That would be the end. Fortunately, Ru Meng's breath was released and imprisoned them on the spot, so he could escape. One more day. That was even more terrifying. He was surrounded by a group of big men, constantly shouting his name. They threw all the treasures and immortal crystals on their bodies to him. They were even more fanatical than the fans on Earth. Fortunately, Ru Meng was there and smoothly rescued him. After a few days of lessons, Sun Hao clearly realized that people were afraid of being famous, acting cool for a while, but there were endless troubles in the future. In the future, he had to be careful when using Ru Meng's power to act cool. It was best if, after acting cool, he immediately fled far away and never appeared again. Now, he dressed up like this to be able to walk in Zhongfu Immortal City without being disturbed by others. These days, walking in the West Prefecture Immortal City, there were rumors about himself everywhere. Moreover, these rumors were getting more and more outrageous. He simply boasted that he was omnipotent. He now had a deep understanding of how terrifying rumors could be. Ru Meng, do you have it? Sun Hao looked at Huang Ru Meng and asked. Young master, this tea house doesn't have it. Huang Ru Meng nodded slightly. Let's go, then let's go to the next tea house. Okay, young master. The two quietly left the tea house without attracting anyone's attention. Chapter 260. West Prefecture Immortal City, in a private room of a tea house. Sir, don't kill me, I'll tell you everything. In front of Sun Hao, a cultivator said in fear and trepidation. Why would I kill you? We only sell immortal wine. After speaking, Sun Hao took out 3 bottles of immortal wine and handed them to the cultivator. Sir, how much is a bottle? The cultivator asked. 1 immortal crystal per bottle. Sun Hao said. What? Why don't you go? The immortal cultivator glanced at Huang Rumring and weakly lowered his head. Sir, I only have 2 immortal crystals. Then buy 2 bottles. Sun Hao said. Yes, my lord. After throwing down 2 immortal crystals, the cultivator ran out. Take the immortal wine. Yes, I am. After taking away the 2 bottles of immortal wine, the cultivator fled in a sorry state. Not long after, the cultivator returned again and looked at Sun Hao with admiration. What's up? Sir, no, young master, you are young master Sun Hao, right? The cultivator asked. Shh. Can't say. Sun Hao lowered his voice and said. Greetings, young master Sun Hao. The cultivator aimed at Sun Hao and bowed deeply. Don't stand on ceremony. Go. Yes, young master. The immortal cultivator turned around and left, his eyes shining brightly. Ding, blessing points +2. Hearing this, Sun Hao opened the blessing point panel. It read 183455. He still needed more than 10,000 to gather 200,000. However, this was too difficult. Since the blessing point reached 100,000, he could see immortal power. Each person could only harvest 3 blessing points at most. Moreover, it was only limited to powerhouses above the Ascendant Realm and could only be harvested once. No matter how long it took, they could not harvest again. This was nothing. The only thing that annoyed him was that he had to sell some flowers to help people break through and ascend. Then, when he sold the celestial wine to him, he actually couldn't get any blessing points. In other words, only those who reached the Ascendant Realm by their own ability could harvest the blessing points. Of the 400,000 bottles of immortal wine he brewed, there were still 400,000 bottles left. It was too difficult to find a cultivator who met the requirement. Rumming, is this tea house still there? Sun Hao asked. Young master, there is no one who can sell immortal wine. Huang Rumming said. Rumming, what about the entire Central Prefecture Immortal City? Sun Hao asked. That person just now is the last one, Huang Rumming said. Sigh. Sun Hao sighed heavily. The Central Prefecture Immortal City could be said to be the center of the Skylaw continent, where all the experts gathered. Even here, there was no one who met the requirements to harvest blessing points. Therefore, there shouldn't be many people left in the other 4 major cities. In that case, it was time to leave the Tianluo continent and harvest the blessing points in other continents. Rumming, besides the Tianluo continent, which other place has the most experts? Sun Hao asked. Young master, in the entire Xiang Star, the place with the most experts is the Penglai continent. In that place, even the weakest are half immortals. There are even more immortals. Huang Rumming said. No way. Wasn't it said that the human race only had the 9th spirit? Why are there still a lot of immortals? Sun Hao was puzzled. Young master, the 9 immortals of the human race refer to those who have passed the immortal tribulation through their own efforts. Such people are generally very strong. However, there are many big forces that, in order to cultivate the strong, use some kind of forbidden technique or rely on some kind of medicinal pill to produce immortals in batches. Such immortals are called false immortals. They can't improve in their lives, just like the 4 people you killed a few days ago. 3 of them were false immortals, Huang Rumming said. Hearing this, Sun Hao frowned slightly. In this world, even immortals could be produced in batches. Wasn't this too terrifying? Could he produce immortals in batches? Forming an army to protect himself? At that time, wouldn't it be cool to go out together? Even if he didn't create immortals, he could also summon an army of immortal beasts, which must be good. He would find a chance to try it later. Rumming, on the Penglai continent, except for the 9 immortals of the human race, the other immortals are all false immortals? Sun Hao asked. Of course not. Huang Rumming shook her head slightly. Although Xiang Star is a waste star, there are still many branches of forces stationed here. Just like the Zhongli family, in fact, their main family is not here, but outside the distant starry sky. And such forces generally have immortals stationed in the dark, but they don't show up on the surface. Huang Rumming said. The lowest strength was a half immortal, and there should be a bunch of false immortals. Moreover, there were many immortals. Such a continent should be able to harvest a lot of blessing points. It was worth seeing for himself. It was best to collect the blessing points within a month. Rumming, let's go back to the Supreme Court, pack up, and then go to the Penglai continent. Sun Hao said. Young master, aren't we going back to the Great Monster Mountain? Huang Rumming asked. No need, there should be nothing wrong with Miss Xiaolan taking care of it. Sun Hao said. Okay, young master. Huang Rumeng took Sun Hao through the layers of ripples and disappeared from the Zhongfu Immortal City. When they appeared again, they had already arrived in front of the forbidden attic of the Supreme Court. "Greetings, young master." As soon as he landed, he saw 3 figures coming up and saluting respectfully. Of these 3 people, he knew 2 of them. The other was an old man wearing a bamboo hat and a straw cape. He looked like a fisherman. "No need to be polite. Miss Lu Yen? I haven't seen you for a long time. Miss Ruo Shi, you're here too? May I ask who this is?" Sun Hao looked at Old Man Jiyo and asked. "Young master, my name is Old Man Jiyo, you can call me Old Jiyo. I heard that young master is good at fishing. I came to ask young master for advice. Please don't hesitate to teach me." Old Man Jiyo walked straight up and saluted with his fists clasped. At the corner of his mouth there was a faint smile. "Fishing Tao in the entire Xiang star, who can compare except me? Even if the godly cunning immortal is powerful, can he surpass me in fishing Tao? As long as he agrees, then I will bet with him. At that time, it will be no problem to win some immortal crystals." Old Man Jiyo thought secretly, and his heart became more and more proud. However, there was no change on his face. "Fishing?" The corner of Sun Hao's mouth rose. "I haven't fished for a long time. It just so happens that my skill is itchy. When?" "Young master, it depends on when you are free," Old Man Jiyo said. "How about tomorrow? It's not fun fishing alone. Why don't we find more people? Miss Ruo Shi, Miss Lu Yen, you should also participate," Sun Hao said. Hearing this, the 2 women's expressions changed drastically. They waved their hands. "Young master, we don't know how to fish." "It's okay, I'll teach you then," Sun Hao said. "Yes, young master." Since the young master had spoken, he naturally couldn't spoil the young master's mood. "Then it's decided happily. Let's have dinner together tonight?" Sun Hao said. Lu Liuyen's eyes flashed. Now, he was the only half-immortal. Even his disciple had surpassed him by too much. Being able to freeload a meal at young master's place would definitely allow him to break through to become an immortal. With the young master here, the Thunder Tribulation Giant would definitely not dare to come over, and he could safely cross the tribulation. "Thank you, young master." Lu Liuyen bowed and saluted. "You're welcome. The 3 of you please come in. There's no meat today. Let's just have some vegetables," Sun Hao said with a smile. "Young master, we don't seem to have brought any vegetables out," Huang Rumeng said. "It's okay. Let's plant a little," Sun Hao said. "What? Plant some? Plant it now? Can this work?" Several people's eyes were full of doubts. Especially Old Man Jiyo. His eyes showed extreme reluctance. Although Taoist Ruo Shi had told him many times that what the young master ate was extremely not simple. But she didn't say what the young master ate. Always hanging his appetite. He ran to the young master's residence, but he didn't even enter the door. From the outside, the inside was extremely ordinary, and there was nothing extraordinary. From the looks of it, it looked like a mortal mansion. Now that he saw himself, he didn't see anything extraordinary. No matter how he looked at it, he was a mortal. If he grew vegetables now, could they be eaten? Don't not even sprout when the time comes. "Rumeng, go and help me invite the Grand Dean over. One more person, just one more pair of chopsticks," Sun Hao said. "Yes, young master." After Huang Rumeng finished speaking, she turned into an afterimage and left quickly. This, Old Man Jiyo's scalp exploded, and cold sweat flowed. This girl, who looked like a mortal, was so fast that even he couldn't react. This was too terrifying. Could it be that the girl was also an immortal, and her realm was far above him? Thinking of this, hiss! Old Man Jiyo took a breath, and cold sweat flowed. He put away his contempt, carefully followed Sun Hao, and walked into the backyard. The moment he opened the backyard door, Old Man Jiyo was like an electric shock, and he couldn't help but look sluggish. Chapter 261. Phew, a surge of celestial energy surged toward him. Taking a deep breath was like cultivating for a month. Old man Jiryo's expression froze, surprise written all over his face. He swept his gaze across and stared at the cherry trees. These are all immortal trees. Unbelievable! Unexpectedly, the Supreme Court is much richer than the old man's Sunluo temple. A bitter look appeared on old man Jiryo's face. Everyone, feel free to take a seat. Don't stand on ceremony. After Sun Hao finished speaking, he picked up the hoe and walked into the backyard. Luo Luyen and the other two did not sit down but followed behind Sun Hao. Young master, let me help? Luo Luyen said. There's no need. I'll just plant tonight's food. I alone am enough. Sun Hao picked up a hoe and began to dig the ground. Sowing seeds, watering and fertilizing. All the movements were done in an orderly manner. Old man Jiryo stared blankly, his face calm. That's it? Can it grow? Is there anything to eat tonight? That's good too. I've long since stopped eating such mundane things. Old man Jiryo thought secretly, his eyes fixed on Sun Hao. Young master, what are you doing? Do you want to play the piano? What does playing the guqin have to do with growing vegetables? However, I heard from them that young master's zither playing has a special effect that can strengthen the soul, improve talent, and even improve the realm. Old man Jiryo looked at Sun Hao, and a strange light bloomed in his eyes. If the legend was true, then his talent would also increase rapidly. He might even be able to break through to the next realm. The more he thought about it, the more excited the ninth nether old man became. His eyes were filled with anticipation. He stared at Sun Hao, motionless. Clang, the sound of the zither reverberated outwards. When it reached old man Jiryo's ears, there was nothing strange about it. It sounded no different from a mortal playing the zither. The voice of the secular world, it's completely the voice of the secular world. Did Ruoshi lie to this old man? What's in it for her? Old man Jiryo frowned in thought and secretly shook his head. Suddenly, his eyebrows twitched, and his eyes widened in disbelief at the scene before him. They saw, under the lingering sound of the zither, the vegetable seeds that had just been taken down all burst out of the soil. Then, it grew at a speed visible to the naked eye. Immortal energy swirled around the vegetable leaves, making them look like pieces of art that were too beautiful to behold. This is a low-grade celestial medicine. Heavens, such a big piece, how many celestial crystals is it worth? What? It's still growing, a middle-grade immortal medicine, is this a dream? High-grade immortal medicine, my ancestor. Supreme-grade immortal medicine, this is a supreme-grade immortal medicine. Such a large area, if I were to sell it, it would be supreme immortal medicine. I never thought that there would actually be a day where I could see a supreme immortal medicine. They've all grown into immortal godly medicines. Hiss, boundless cold air poured into his body. Old man Jiryo opened his mouth and mumbled for a long time, unable to react. Shock and disbelief were written all over his face. Boom! His heart pounded violently, and it was difficult for him to calm down. What happened today was unimaginable and unimaginable. Didn't the immortal godly medicine need to absorb the essence of heaven and earth for tens of thousands of years before it could grow? How did it grow after young master played a song? Moreover, it only took a short moment. If they hadn't seen it with their own eyes, who would have believed it? What kind of person was this seemingly mortal young master? He could actually grow immortal godly medicines. Such a character, even the immortal emperor was nothing in front of him. I didn't expect that I, old man Jiryo, would be fortunate enough to meet such a character. I will die without regrets in this life. No, young master just said to grow some vegetarian dishes. Don't tell me that these immortal godly medicines are just vegetarian dishes for eating in young master's eyes? Is it possible that we have to eat these vegetarian dishes tonight? My ancestor, my biological father. An unparalleled excitement surged through Old Man Jiuyo's chest. His heart didn't stop his command at all, beating violently. For a while, he couldn't calm down at all. On the other side, Luo Luyen and Daoist Ruoshi stood in place. The two opened their small mouths and muttered to themselves. They didn't say a word for a long time. That kind of shock and surprise was written all over their faces. Hiss, the two women took countless breaths of cold air before they calmed down. So the immortal godly medicines grow like this. Young Master's means are really terrifying. The two muttered to themselves and looked at Sun Hao. Their faces showed incomparable awe. Young Master, the Grand Dean is here. At this time, a voice came from the front yard. Immediately afterward, under the leadership of Huang Ruming, Zhongli Lang walked in carefully. Zhongli Lang's face showed incomparable reverence. That day, when he broke through to become an immortal, facing that terrifying immortal tribulation, he would probably die tragically on the spot with only one blow. Unexpectedly, after the Thunder Tribulation Giant saw the young master, he was scared and fled in a panic. Not only that, but the Thunder Tribulation Giant also planted the light of Thunder Tribulation in his body. This was a supreme good fortune. Everything was given by the young master. This kindness could not be repaid in 100 lifetimes. Young master, don't worry, even if I die, I will never let the dragon invade us. Zhongli Lang muttered to himself, firmly clenching his fists. As soon as he raised his head, his pupils shrank and his eyes widened. That is, my mother, they are all immortal godly medicines, such a large area, at least hundreds of them. They didn't even come to see the young master yesterday. Why did they grow so much today? Could it be that this was also planted by the young master? Thinking about it, the skin all over his body was tight, the back of his head was numb, and his body was trembling. His jaw seemed to fall off, and he was extremely shocked. Hiss, boundless cold air poured into his body. His whole body trembled involuntarily. After taking a few deep breaths, he felt a little better. A few days ago, when he saw those immortal trees, he was excited for several days. Until today, he felt a little better. Unexpectedly, seeing the young master plant the supreme divine medicine today, his heart didn't listen to him again. Young master, what kind of existence are you? It's so terrifying. It seems that the dragon race is nothing in front of you. Even the terrible existence behind the dragon race, when he sees you, I'm afraid he has to kneel down and lick you. Not to mention a small Zhongli family. With the young master's support, I don't have to be afraid of anything in the future. Zhongli Lang thought secretly. Grand Dean, sit anywhere, it will be ready soon. Ruming, help me cook. Yes, young master. Under everyone's stunned gaze. Washing vegetables, cutting vegetables, stir-frying vegetables. After a while, several side dishes were placed on the table. Everyone sat down in order. Everyone, I can only eat some vegetarian dishes, please don't mind. Don't just stand there, eat. Under the leadership of Sun Hao, everyone picked up the dishes in turn. Old Man Jiuyo picked up a piece of radish. His chopsticks shook, and the radish slipped into the bowl. After a few times, Old Man Jiuyo successfully picked up the radish into his bowl. Supreme divine medicine. I didn't expect that I, Old Man Jiuyo, could taste the supreme divine medicine. This life is worth it, even if I die. He took a bite. The fragrance was full of sweetness and saltiness. At this moment, all the taste bud cells were active. So delicious. Infinite immortal power surged through the whole body from the meridians. The immortal body was growing rapidly. Just for a moment. Kacha, the barrier of the realm, cracked. He broke through from the yellow immortal realm to the profound immortal realm at once. I just took a bite and it made me break through? It's incredible. This time, this old man is really right to come. The young master is so good to me. I must not win when fishing tomorrow. Old man Jiyo muttered to himself and secretly made a decision. Chapter 262. Immortal Elixir. The young master is cooking with immortal elixir. I think I can break through after eating it. Luo Luyen picked up a small cabbage with an excited face. She opened her big mouth and took a bite. After chewing a few times, she swallowed it. Infinite immortal power surged all over her body. Kacha, in an instant, Luo Luyen successfully broke through and reached the immortal realm. The nascent soul in her dantian directly burst apart, turning into a body refining force that flowed all over her body. Luo Luyen shed her mortal body and grew into an immortal body. At the same time, endless black clouds in an instant covered the entire Zhongzhou land airtight. Various colors of lightning kept lingering in the black clouds, bursting out a frightening power. In the dark clouds, the Thunder Tribulation Giant moved forward cautiously, showing a look of fear on his face. God bless me, I hope I don't meet the Supreme Existence this time. After praying for a long time, the Thunder Tribulation Giant swept to the ground. Suddenly, his scalp exploded, his body trembled, and he sat directly on the ground. My lord, why is there another Supreme Existence? Where the Supreme Existence is, there will be people crossing the tribulation. Why am I so bitter? No, what did they just eat? Thinking so, the Thunder Tribulation Giant summoned up his courage and swept his eyes on the table. Immediately, his pupils contracted, and his face changed dramatically. Shock was written all over his face. My God, that is immortal elixir, so many, are they used as dishes? The ruler seems to have a few immortal elixirs, but he kept them as treasures and didn't show them at all. I didn't expect that the Supreme Existence would eat immortal elixirs as dishes. Who in this world can do that? If the ruler sees this scene, I'm afraid his jaw will drop. The Thunder Tribulation Giant kept swallowing, showing a look of eagerness. Finally, he weakly withdrew his gaze, took out the thunder hammer, pulled out a ray of lightning from it, and threw it to Luo Luyen. The Thunder Tribulation Giant's face was full of reluctance. Finally, he took a big step and disappeared. The black clouds dispersed, and the sky instantly became clear. The sun went down in the west, and the sunset covered the sky, which was beautiful. Everyone stared at the sky blankly, with a look of astonishment. Ran? Thunder Tribulation Giant actually ran away. The young master didn't even move, but he scared the Thunder Tribulation Giant away. Incredible! They looked at Sun Hao with admiration on their faces. Everyone, why are you looking at me? Eat it, it won't taste good if it gets cold. Sun Hao's voice woke them up. Yes, young master. Everyone began to pick up the food and continued to eat. Wu Wu, the blood wolf, was at Sun Hao's feet and kept rubbing against his trousers. Sun Hao looked down at the blood wolf and shook his head for a while. You want to eat it? Wu Blood Wolf kept nodding. As a wolf, shouldn't you eat meat? This is a vegetable dish. Although it's surrounded by immortal power, it stands to reason that you shouldn't be able to digest it, Sun Hao said. Wu, the blood wolf, kept growling, its eyes shining with a strange light, staring at the cabbage on Sun Hao's chopsticks. All right, you can have it. After speaking, Sun Hao picked up a bowl and put it on the ground for Blood Wolf. This is... Sun Hao touched the Blood Wolf's head and pushed away the left and right hair with his hand. He found that there were 2 horns on the Blood Wolf's head. These 2 horns had obviously just grown out and were very tender. You're a wolf and you have horns? As soon as these words came out, it instantly attracted everyone's attention. Everyone narrowed their eyes and looked, and their scalps exploded. The shocked look was indescribable in words. This blood wolf is evolving, and it seems to be evolving into an ancient divine beast Qilin. This must be the result of following the young master. My God, the young master can actually make an ordinary blood wolf evolve into a divine beast. It's really an eternal legend. It's really unseen and unheard of. Several people used divine sense to communicate and talked for a while. That shocked expression did not dissipate for a long time. After dinner, Dean, come fishing with us tomorrow, Sun Hao said. Fishing? No way, right? Now was the time for the dragon race to attack the human race. Young master, you should find someone else. Zhongli Lang's face was full of bitterness. Young master, I don't know how to fish. It's okay, I can teach you, Sun Hao said. Hearing this, Zhongli Lang couldn't help but sigh secretly. Okay, young master. Zhongli Lang nodded. Dean, where is a good place to fish around here? Sun Hao asked. Young master, Bua Lake is a good place to fish. It's deep, there are many fish, and the environment is good, Zhongli Lang said. Okay, let's go there tomorrow. Somewhere in the southern seabed of Tianluo continent. In a temporarily built palace. Dragon Lord Qing Fu sat in the main seat, holding a jade bottle in his hand, and kept looking at it. When he opened the bottle cap, his pupils shrank and his face changed dramatically. There is such an immortal brew in this world. Qing Fu took the jade bottle and poured it into his mouth. Strong immortal power and terrifying Tao rhyme surged through every cell in his body. Just for a moment. Kacha, he immediately broke through from the yellow immortal realm to the profound immortal realm. Qing Fu's eyes widened, full of disbelief. Just drinking a cup of immortal brew, he couldn't break through the realm, but he broke through just like that? Not only that, his physical body actually doubled. Unimaginable! Unimaginable! Dong dong, Qing Fu's heart beat violently. This thing, if the dragon race can brew it, then it is just around the corner to revive the glory of the dragon race and rule the whole world. If I tell this news to my father, will he still say that I am a waste? I'm afraid he will transfer me back immediately. The more he thought about it, the more excited Qing Fu became. After a few long breaths, he calmed down. He looked at the man kneeling in front of him. Where did this thing come from? My lord, I asked someone to buy this thing in Zhongfu Immortal City. The man said. Bought? Then why did you only buy 3 bottles, not more? Qing Fu shouted. When the man heard this, his face was full of bitterness. My lord, I also want to, but that person only sold 3 bottles and only allowed to buy once. There is such a thing? Qing Fu muttered to himself, what is that person's name? My lord, that person's name is Sun Hao. He seems to be a popular person around the godly cunning immortal. His means are superb. A few days ago, he killed several immortals without using any power. The man said. Just relying on his physical body, he is so powerful? Qing Fu frowned slightly, revealing a thoughtful look. Soon after, Qing Fu looked at the man and said, You did a good job this time, a great merit. This matter must not be spread out, do you understand? Yes, Dragon Lord. When the man retreated, Qing Fu shouted softly, Come. My lord, what are your orders? Go and ask General Yen. Qing Fu said. Yes. A moment later, a man in red armor knelt in front of Qing Fu. Greetings, my lord. No need for formalities, General Yen. Come and take a look. Yes, my lord. Taking the jade bottle from Qing Fu's hand, opening the bottle cap, the red-armored man's face changed drastically. This is the supreme immortal wine. I only drank 1 bottle, and I broke through to the Xian immortal realm, and my physical body doubled. Qing Fu said. What? The red-armored man's eyes widened, full of disbelief. My lord, you are? I called you over to let you send these 2 bottles of immortal wine to my father, and tell him that on Xiang Star, there is a person named Sun Hao who can brew this kind of immortal wine. Father knows what to do. Qing Fu said. Yes, my lord. The red-armored man knelt and saluted, standing up. The red-armored man quickly retreated. Soon after. Reporting, my lord, General Qi requests an audience. Summon. Immediately afterward, a man knelt in front of Qing Fu. How is it? Qing Fu asked. My lord, the second young master agreed. saying that his clone will descend at the critical moment. Hearing this, Qing Fu let out a long sigh of relief. With the support of the second brother, this time, he could attack safely. Human race? Godly, cunning, immortal? You must surrender or else die. And Sun Hao, you must become my royal brewer. When I slaughter the humans first, I will catch you in my hands. Come. My lord. Why hasn't the divine Turtle Clan arrived yet? My lord, I don't know. In that case, the agreement with them is broken. Pass my order, the 10 armies attack. Qing Fu said. Yes, my lord. The messenger quickly retreated. Chapter 263. South of Tianluo Continent, a small fishing village by the sea. It was the tradition of this village to work at sunrise and rest at sunset. On this day, the sea was suddenly foggy, making people unable to tell the direction. Husband, it's too foggy today, don't go out to sea. My child's mother, don't worry, this sea, for me, old Qing, I know it like the palm of my hand. Even with my eyes closed, I won't get lost. The fishing boats chased each other and disappeared into the fog. The family on the shore withdrew their gaze, worried. Suddenly, howl, a heaven-shaking roar resounded through the world. The white fog surged and the waves shook. 2 big blood-red eyes directly penetrated the fog and stared at the villagers. At this moment, all the villagers were like sinking into an ice cellar, and their whole bodies were cold. Their bodies trembled involuntarily. That's a giant dragon, my God! Husband, come back! Shouts, screams, cries, sounds intertwined. The whole scene was noisy. The silver dragon stared at the crowd and spoke in human language. You ants, how dare you eat my kind, it's disrespectful. We have come here to slaughter you all. As soon as these words came out, all the villagers' faces changed drastically, and a few people knelt on the ground, shivering. Lord Dragon God, we didn't. Spare me, spare me. We are just mortals, how could it be? Shouts kept ringing. Many people ran wildly and ran out of the village. However, they had only run a few steps. Howl! A dragon roar shook the sky. Dozens of giant dragons descended from the sky, blocking everyone's way. Whoosh! Dozens of dragon breaths were aimed at the small mountain village and blasted down. No! Desperate cries kept ringing. Boom! There was a loud noise and the world trembled. When everything returned to calm, the entire mountain village was moved to the ground and disappeared. Dozens of giant dragons looked at the ground, their faces full of contempt. Little ants, unable to withstand a single blow. One dragon is enough, there is no need to send out the whole army. Just as these words were finished, swish, thousands of ear-piercing sounds rang. Wisps of white light threads shot out from the ground. In an instant, dozens of giant dragons were tied up and pulled down like dumplings. Boom! Boom! Before they could react, they crashed heavily into the ground, their heads spinning. Not good, this is the dragon trapping formation. Damn it, I fell for it. In order to lure us into a trap, they even abandoned their own clansmen. You're wrong. Those were all illusions. What? The dozens of giant dragons had ugly expressions on their faces as they struggled non-stop. However, they were unable to break free no matter how hard they tried. Swish, swish, suddenly. Dozens of rays of light pierced through the air. They turned into dozens of figures and stood in mid-air. According to the first principal's orders, we are to cut open their stomachs and collect their meat after killing them. Yes. Go! Swish, dozens of figures quickly flew down. Seeing this, the giant dragons sneered. How dare a few ants like you attack us? Even if I stand here and let you slash at me, you won't be able to do anything. The next second, Hua light flashed. A giant dragon's abdomen was cut open and its internal organs were dug out. It looked at its abdomen in disbelief. Hua, another ray of light. The giant dragon was horrified to find that its dragon scales, which had resisted everything, were actually torn apart and separated from its body. The pain had not yet come. Swish! A ray of light flashed. The dragon head was chopped off and rolled far away. Dozens of giant dragons, without even a chance to resist, were chopped to death on the spot. Let's go! After putting away the dragon meat, dozens of people turned into long rainbows and broke through the sky. And scenes like this were staged throughout the South Bank. Tian Luo continent, in a temporary palace at the bottom of the sea. Damn it! Qing Fu slammed the table, and the table shattered into powder. He pointed at the dragon general who was kneeling in front of him, his fingers trembling with anger. 30,000 troops gone just like that? Master, this general failed his duty and fell into the human race's trap, causing the 10 armies to be wiped out. Master, please grant this general the death penalty. The dragon general knelt on the ground with a determined look. Master, no. Master, now is the time to use the dragon, let him atone for his crimes. Many dragon generals knelt on the ground and begged for mercy on his behalf. Shut up! With a loud shout, all of the dragon generals immediately shut their mouths. Take him away and behead him. Yes. The dragon general was dragged away. How many soldiers are left? Qing Fu asked. Master, the 10 armies are all old and weak. There are still 80,000 elites left. A dragon general stood out. 80,000? Qing Fu frowned slightly. He revealed a thoughtful look. After a moment, pass down the order, send 20,000 soldiers to transform into their original form and disperse the attack. We must slaughter those ants. Yes. The messenger quickly retreated. 2 hours later. Report. A messenger hurriedly ran in. Speak. Reporting to Master, the army of 20,000 was completely wiped out. As soon as these words came out, Qing Fu's body staggered and almost fell. These were 20,000 elites, but they were completely wiped out? How did a small ant do it? After calming down, Qing Fu looked at the messenger. What happened? Master, this scattered attack, not a single human, no, not a single ant was seen. And in the process of searching for the soldiers, they were suddenly surrounded by dozens of ants. Every one of them has the strength of the half-celestial realm, and they easily killed our soldiers. Moreover, they skinned them and emptied their internal organs. They must be preparing to eat them. As soon as these words came out, Qing Fu was so angry that her whole body trembled, and anger was written all over her face. Damn it, damn it! Too presumptuous, all the ants are preparing to eat my clan? How dare this? How can they be so strong? Qing Fu asked. Master, according to the priest's investigation, the reason why they are so strong is because of a kind of immortal wine. The messenger said. As soon as these words came out, Qing Fu's body trembled, and her pupils shrank slightly. She had just gotten 3 bottles, could it be that they drank that? The effect didn't seem to be so strong, right? Immortal wine? What's going on? Master, a man named Sun Hao brewed it. After drinking it, it can greatly enhance an ant's physical body, talent, realm, soul, state of mind. It is said that some people only drink 1 bottle and advance from the ascendant realm to the half-celestial realm. Their physical body directly becomes dozens of times stronger than our clan. That kind of immortal wine is a secret medicine specially developed for ants, and it has little effect on other races. Even so, after drinking it, my clan can increase their strength by nearly 2 times. As soon as these words came out, Qing Fu took a breath of cold air. If this kind of thing spread in the human race, then in the future, it would definitely be the world of the human race. Now, what should I do? Since that was the case, then I have to slaughter them all, leave no one alive, and eliminate future troubles. This time, I will personally lead the team. Phew! Just then, in front of Qing Fu, there were suddenly layers of ripples. An old man with a turtle shell on his back appeared out of thin air. This person was the ancestor of the divine turtle clan, Xian Lao. Lord Dragon Lord, I'm late, I'm really sorry, Xian Lao said. You know you're late? Our agreement is invalid. Qing Fu snorted coldly. Dragon Lord, don't. You also know that my clan's speed can't be compared with other races at all. If I hadn't used a secret technique along the way, I'm afraid I would have been late for a month. Dragon Lord, with my clan leading the way, I guarantee the safety of the Dragon Clan. What do you think? Xian Lao said. Come on. Hey, since the Dragon Lord doesn't want to cooperate, then this old man will take his leave. Originally, this old man had a plan, but now it seems that there is no need. Wait. Chapter 264. Sun Hao's residence in the backyard. The flower fairy was watering the soul-sinking divine wood. At this time, quack, a duck's cry sounded. The nine heavens god Luan ran over quickly. Greetings, senior. The flower fairy hurriedly clasped her fists and saluted. No need to be polite. This old man is hungry, you know what to do, right? The nine heavens god Luan said. Senior, I know. After speaking, the flower fairy waved her right hand and took out hundreds of blood-colored crystals. These crystals were transformed by the soul-devouring insect. Senior, please. The flower fairy said. Please what? If you don't swing it, how can I eat it? What? The flower fairy's face changed slightly, and her body trembled. She carefully picked up a blood-colored crystal and swung it hard. There was no reaction. She couldn't swing it at all. Did she need to scan it with her divine sense? The flower fairy glanced at the blood-colored crystal. Immediately, Kacha, the soul-devouring insect, broke out of its shell. Without waiting for the flower fairy to react, it turned into a long rainbow and rushed away. Seeing this scene, the flower fairy stood dumbfounded, and her face changed drastically. What are you still doing? Do you want this old man to chase after it? Don't let it escape, otherwise the consequences will be unimaginable. The nine heavens god Luan's voice awakened the flower fairy. The flower fairy's divine sense swept, soared into the sky, and went straight to the soul-devouring insect. Tianluo Continent, Zhongfu Immortal City. People came and went, and the flow was endless. Looking at the whole scene, it was a bustling scene. Early in the morning, buzz, the world trembled, and layers of ripples appeared. Immediately afterward, one figure after another walked out of the ripples and stood in all directions. Behind these people, there was a huge turtle shell, which looked indestructible. That's the Divine Turtle Clan. Why are they here? So many. I'm afraid there are as many as 100,000. What do they want to do? Do they want to attack our human race? A group of cultivators stared blankly at the sky, and their faces changed. They saw that the divine turtle stood in the sky, motionless. Few golden turtle shell phantoms flew out from their bodies one after another, connecting together and enveloping heaven and earth. In the blink of an eye, it enveloped the entire West Prefecture Immortal City. From a distance, it looked like a golden shield covering the West Prefecture Immortal City. They are here to deal with us. Damn it, they want to kill us all. Cries of alarm rang out continuously. Many immortal cultivators penetrated the protective array and fled to the sky. However, swish, a dazzling golden light shone on the golden shield and sprinkled down from the sky. In an instant, it landed on the body of the immortal cultivator flying toward the sky. Sizzle, the voices kept ringing out. These cultivators didn't even have the chance to scream before they were smashed into dust. When the cultivators below saw this, their expressions changed dramatically and their bodies trembled. Damn it! Bastard race wants to slaughter my city? What should I do? Everyone, don't be afraid. Let's unite and fight them to the death. Screams and shouts could be heard from the city, resulting in a great commotion. Many immortal cultivators were running around in all directions. Not long later, buzz, the sky shook again. Tens of thousands of ripples filled the sky. Giant dragons drilled out of the ripples and covered the sky. Each one exuded a shocking pressure, and the weakest reached the half-immortal realm. Seeing this scene, the immortal cultivators in the city trembled violently and broke out in a cold sweat. Dragon! Dragon race, it turns out to be them. Damn bastard, to be a lackey, what should I do? Bastard's defense is too strong, I'm afraid this cage can't be broken. The faces of many immortal cultivators were full of despair. They looked at the giant dragons in the sky and shivered. The dignified dragon race, passed down from ancient times, is a race blessed by the heavens. All along, we have ruled the 3 realms and suppressed the 100 territories. Once the command is given, no one dares to disobey. And now you lowly ants actually eat my people. How can I be satisfied if I don't slaughter you all? A man in a golden robe stood in the air, majestic and awe-inspiring. His voice was like thunder, echoing between heaven and earth in the central prefecture immortal city and lingering for a long time. These voices reached the ears of everyone and shook their minds. What? Eat the dragon race? Which great god is so awesome? Amazing, really a model for our generation. I must get to know such a character. Since ancient times, I have never heard of anyone eating the dragon race. I didn't expect that someone in this era did it. It's really domineering. It's really an era of the rise of the human race. It's really an amazing era. This can shatter the arrogance of the dragon race. What's the harm in dying? Many people's faces showed a look of great satisfaction. That expression, as if countless years of suffocation were released at this moment. Seeing this scene, the golden-robed man in the sky couldn't help but change his expression slightly. It stood to reason that when he said this, it would definitely cause the entire human race to be in chaos. But now? It didn't have the slightest effect. Damn it! All listened to the order, break the great array for me. The order was given. Thousands of giant dragons moved at the same time. They spewed out dragon breaths, gathered together, and fell straight down. The golden shield that the divine turtle clan used did not stop it in the slightest. The dragon breath fell directly on the city protection great array. Boom! There was a loud noise and the world shook. Gotcha! The city protection great array shook violently, and cracks spread in all directions. Soon, the great array was restored to its original state. This sound awakened all the cultivators. The excitement on their faces disappeared in an instant, and all turned into horror. Don't be afraid, everyone. The godly cunning immortal will bless us. Yes, with the godly cunning immortal here, what is a mere dragon race? Everyone, pray to the godly cunning immortal together. Such a voice sounded constantly around the city. Immediately afterward, whether it was cultivators or mortals, at this moment they all knelt on the ground, put their hands together, and began to pray. Supreme God, supreme existence, great godly cunning immortal. I am your most devout believer. I hope you can save all living beings. You are so kind, you will definitely hear our voices. Such a voice sounded throughout the central prefecture immortal city. It looked like millions of people were chanting sutras. The scene was spectacular and hard to describe in words. The golden-robed man looked at this scene and smiled coldly. Even if there is the godly cunning immortal, I'm afraid he can't save you. Now, they should be ambushing us in the southern region, right? When we slaughter you all, we will arrest the godly cunning immortal. The most important thing is to arrest that Sun Hao. The golden-robed man's eyes were full of cold smiles. Continue to attack. There was a loud shout. Thousands of dragons opened their mouths at the same time. Thousands of dragon breaths circled rapidly in the sky and converged together. Buzz, wherever it went, layers of transparent ripples were shaken up. The shocking pressure emanated from the dragon breath and enveloped the earth. The city protection great array seemed to be unable to withstand this pressure and was rapidly deforming and distorting. Seeing that the dragon breath was about to blast on the great array. At this time, presumptuous, a loud roar shook the heavens. The terrifying dragon breath actually shattered and disappeared on the spot. Chapter 265. Over the West Prefecture Immortal City, a man in a white robe descended from the sky and stood high in the sky. This person was Mu Shiji. A silver moon blade floated behind him, buzzing and trembling. The aura of an immortal spread in all directions, enveloping heaven and earth. At this moment, in the sky, tens of thousands of giant dragons were like sinking into a swamp, unable to move. Seeing this scene, the group of immortal cultivators below were full of surprise and looked straight at it. Immortal, that's an immortal! The godly cunning immortal is too efficacious. From now on, I only believe in the godly cunning immortal. The group of immortal cultivators muttered to themselves, their faces full of brilliance. Their eyes were fixed directly on Mu Shiji, motionless, only to see, after Mu Shiji swept a circle. Presumptuous, how dare you slaughter my human race? In that case, you don't need to exist in this world. Mu Shiji waved his right hand, and the moon blade behind him turned into a whirlwind, quickly slashing toward a giant dragon. Little ant, even if you are an immortal, so what? Don't even think about breaking my defense. The giant dragon saw the flying moon blade, and his face was full of a contemptuous smile. The next second, the giant dragon's face changed drastically, staring blankly at the body that was penetrated, full of disbelief. Wow! A sound rang out. The dragon's scales disappeared cleanly. Then, the dragon head was cut off and flew away from the body. Until death, this giant dragon understood what was going on. However, this was not the end. Swish! The moon blade fell rapidly and hit a black turtle. Boom! The black turtle exploded and died tragically on the spot. A big hole was broken in the golden shield. The giant dragon's body fell straight down with the big hole. Boom! The giant dragon's body fell heavily in the middle prefecture Immortal City. The moon blade flew back, and the city protection array was restored to its original state. Everything returned to calm. The group of immortal cultivators in the middle prefecture Immortal City stared blankly at the giant dragon's body, full of disbelief. They opened their mouths wide and murmured for a long time, but did not say a word. Hiss! The sound of gasping came one after another. It took them a long time to calm down. With just a simple move, he killed a giant dragon and blasted that tortoise into pieces? So strong, which immortal is he? Isn't this too powerful? Isn't he Mu Shiji, the heir of the Mu family? How did he become an immortal? What? I only saw him half a month ago. Isn't he just an ascendant realm? It's only been half a month, and you've already become an immortal? Unbelievable! It seems that he must have obtained great fortune from the godly cunning immortal. Cries of surprise could be heard continuously. The dragon race has always treated us as food, swallowing us whenever they want. The weak are prey to the strong. This is an unchanging truth. You can't blame anyone. However, since the dragon clan is weak, they must be prepared to be devoured by my clan. You can divide this dragon among yourselves. Mu Shiji's voice came from the sky and resounded in everyone's ears. When the cultivators heard this, their eyes widened and their faces were filled with shock. The immortal wants us to eat this dragon? Should I eat or not? Since ancient times, I've never heard of anyone eating a dragon. If we eat one, wouldn't we be even stronger than the ancient almighty beings? Since that's the case, what are you afraid of? Eat it, the worst case is death. A group of cultivators looked at the dragon's corpse, their eyes full of fiery gazes. Soon, someone moved. His body turned into an afterimage and rushed toward the dragon's corpse. He picked up a knife and cut it fiercely. When someone took the lead, someone followed. One by one, they quickly rushed toward the dragon's corpse. Each took out a weapon and began to cut. When such a scene was seen by the golden-robed man, the corner of his mouth twitched slightly, and his face was full of anger. You ants, who dares? The golden-robed man roared loudly. This sound resounded through heaven and earth, shaking the ears of the cultivators. Many people stopped what they were doing and their eyes showed panic. What are you afraid of? There are immortals protecting us. That's right, if we can eat dragon meat, we will also become legends, even if we die. Hurry up and grab it, there will be no share if we're late. As soon as these words came out, a group of cultivators scrambled frantically. In the blink of an eye, the dragon's corpse was divided up cleanly. Then, someone set up a large pot and stewed it on the spot. When such a scene was seen by the golden-robed man, his whole face twisted directly into a fried dough twist, extremely ugly. Damn it! You ants, how dare you humiliate the gods? Die, you must die! The golden-robed man roared, his body expanded rapidly, and in the blink of an eye, he turned into a 2,000-meter-long 5-clawed golden dragon. The surging immortal energy flowed rapidly in his body. You ants, go to hell! The 5-clawed golden dragon descended from the sky and went straight to the central prefecture immortal city. However, swish, a ray of silver light arrived at a rapid speed. You want to stop me with this, break? The 5-clawed golden dragon opened his mouth and spat out a dragon's breath, instantly enveloping the silver light. Gotcha! The silver moon blade cracked. Overconfident, the 5-clawed golden dragon snorted coldly and was about to fly down. Mu Shiji's figure flashed and appeared in front of it in an instant. Stretching out his right hand, he grabbed the 5-clawed golden dragon's horn. Even if you are an immortal, so what? My body, how can you break? Before the words fell, the 5-clawed golden dragon's expression stagnated. Immediately afterward, a great pain came from his head. Howl, a sorrowful cry enveloped the world. They saw that the entire dragon horn of the 5-clawed golden dragon was pulled out by Mu Shiji. There was a huge bloody hole in the ground, and fresh blood flowed out of it, turning it scarlet. Damn insects, lowly ants, you have completely angered me. Today you must die. After saying that, the 5-clawed golden dragon opened his mouth and spat hard. A golden dragon bead was spat out from the 5-clawed golden dragon's mouth. Above the dragon bead, there was an aura of destruction. The surrounding air seemed to be unable to stand this pressure, twisting and deforming. Die, the 5-clawed golden dragon roared, the dragon bead bloomed with dazzling light, and went straight to Mu Shiji. The power of destruction, in the eyes of the immortal cultivators below, was full of worry. The next second, everyone couldn't help but widen their eyes, stunned in place. Only to see. The dragon bead was held in Mu Shiji's hand, like playing with a glass ball. The 5-clawed golden dragon's scalp was numb. Trembling all over, he murmured for a long time without spitting out a word. How can your body be so strong? This is impossible, how can an ant's body be stronger than my clan? The 5-clawed golden dragon saw Mu Shiji coming step by step, and his body trembled violently. Dragon Lord, save me! The 5-clawed golden dragon took out a talisman, pinched it gently, and instantly pointed it. Buzz, heaven and earth trembled. 2 teleportation vortexes instantly appeared in the sky. An old man with a turtle shell on his back stepped on the air and blocked in front of Mu Shiji. This person is the ancestor of the divine turtle clan, Xian Lao. On the other side, the lord of the dragon clan, Qing Qi, holding an ancient bronze bell, appeared behind Mu Shiji. Both of them exuded the aura of immortals. Chapter 266. Zhongzhou, Supreme Court, Blue Water Pool. On the surface of the water, white mist curled up. Water birds flew back and forth, creating ripples from time to time. It was an extremely beautiful sight. On this day, several figures descended from the sky and stood beside the jade pond. Good place. Sun Hao looked at the surrounding scenery and nodded with satisfaction. Grand Dean, this place is not bad. Young master, as long as you like it. Zhong Lilang laughed heartily and stroked his beard. Although he looked calm, he was actually panicking inside. According to the latest information, The dragon race bypassed the southern region's defense line and used some kind of spatial teleportation treasure to go to the middle prefecture Immortal City. The patriarchs of the two great clans of the Holy Lands were both arranged to stay in the southern region. It could be said that the central prefecture Immortal City's defenses were empty, and they had no strength to fight at all. If central prefecture Immortal City was destroyed, he would not be able to absolve himself from the blame, and he would not be able to forgive himself for the rest of his life. With my speed, it will take at least a few hours to get to the central prefecture Immortal City. I won't make it in time. Also, the young master asked me to fish, I can't leave. Zhongli Lang thought to himself, and he was extremely worried in his heart. Rumeng, get ready. Yes, young master. Huang Rumeng waved her right hand, and chairs were arranged in a row. Then, Huang Rumeng took out fishing rods and baskets and distributed them to everyone. Young master, I don't need it. I have my own. Old man Jiryo showed a hint of arrogance and took out his fishing rod. After setting up the fish basket, he sat down and cast the hook into the water. The young master is such a powerful person. I must not fish out anything and lose the young master's face. Old man Jiryo thought to himself and made his decision. Suddenly, he raised his eyebrows and stared at the fishing rod in Daoist Ruo Shi's hand. It looks like a mortal fishing rod, but I can't tell its grade. This must be a high-grade immortal rod, or even a supreme-grade immortal rod. I actually don't want it? This is simply... Old man Jiryo wished he could slap himself a few times. In order to show off, he took out a low-grade immortal rod, but what happened in the end? This was a resounding slap to the face. How regretful. If I had known earlier, I wouldn't have said so much. If he had the immortal rod from the young master, his fishing Dao would probably reach a higher level. Sigh, old man Jiryo secretly sighed. Everyone sat down in succession, and Zhongli Lang was the last to sit down. He threw down the fishing rod and secretly took out the jade slip. He checked the messages from time to time with an absent-minded expression. Grand Dean, is there something on your mind? At this moment, a divine sense transmission sounded. Looking up, he saw that Luo Luoyan was looking at him. Oh yeah. Zhongli Lang transmitted. What is it? Luo Luoyan asked. The dragon tribe is attacking. The army I sent is stationed in the southern region, and the Dragon Tribe army has been teleported to the central prefecture Immortal City through some kind of spatial treasure. There's no defense there, not even a single immortal. It's too late to save them now. The young master sent me to resist the Dragon Clan. It's all my fault. I'm too useless. When he spoke up to hear, Zhongli Lang lowered his head and revealed a dispirited expression. Ha ha! Luo Luoyan laughed. Why are you laughing in such an urgent situation? Zhongli Lang's face was filled with displeasure. I laugh because you don't understand the young master at all. Since you know that the young master is the godly cunning immortal, you should know that he can calculate everything. The Dragon Clan's attack on the central prefecture Immortal City is probably also the young master's layout. It's very likely that the young master wants to catch them all in one fell swoop. Luo Luoyan said. These words, like the ninth heaven divine thunder, directly hit Zhongli Lang's head. He was shocked in place and couldn't calm down for a long time. Indeed, the young master can calculate everything. What do I have to worry about? Thinking of this, Zhongli Lang took a few long breaths and relaxed his mood. Thank you for your guidance, fellow Taoist Luo, Zhongli Lang said. You're welcome. In the future, you just have to remember that the young master's means are unimaginable. In the world today, no one is the young master's opponent, Luo Luoyan said. And Zhongli Lang nodded heavily. Suddenly, buzz, a vibration came from the jade slip in his hand. Zhongli Lang picked it up and looked at it. He couldn't help but widen his eyes and open his mouth wide. He murmured for a long time and didn't recover. He saw that the jade slip wrote, Principal, an immortal has arrived in the central prefecture immortal city. Then, an illusory figure appeared. Seeing this figure, how could Zhongli Lang not recognize it? This person was the youth who gave him 5 extra bottles when the young master sold the immortal wine that day. Unexpectedly, in just a few days, he broke through to the immortal realm. Moreover, he went to save the central prefecture immortal city. The young master had long calculated all this and laid out the plan in advance. Zhongli Lang's heart was like being hit by a storm, and he couldn't calm down for a long time. When he told Luo Luyan the news, he saw that her expression was calm, without the slightest surprise. It was as if everything was within reason. It seems that this old man hasn't seen the world, and I don't know how terrifying the young master is. Ai. Zhongli Lang sighed inwardly. Recovering his mood, he directly put the jade slip back into the soul space. Today, let's see who can catch more. After Sun Hao finished speaking, he threw the fish hook into the water. Hundreds of kilometers to the west of the central prefecture immortal city. Whoosh, a figure flew past quickly. This person was the flower fairy. On her face, there was worry written all over it. Damn soul-devouring bug, it's faster than me. Moreover, it's neither fast nor slow, keeping the same distance from me. This is trying to piss me off. How good should this be? The flower fairy muttered to herself, her face full of bitterness. She broke through the space several times and chased after the soul-devouring bug. Seeing that she was about to catch the soul-devouring bug, unexpectedly, this little bug could also break through the space and appear dozens of kilometers away. Along the way, the distance between the soul-devouring bug and herself had never changed. It seemed that it was deliberately leading her to a place. Where does it want to go? What does it want to do? The more she thought about it, the more uneasy the flower fairy became. If the soul-devouring bug escaped and let it reproduce quickly, it would not only be a disaster for the entire Tianluo continent. It would be a disaster for the entire Xiang star and even for the 3 realms. At that time, I'm afraid that even the young master can't stop it. If so, she wouldn't forgive herself even if she died. I must catch it. The flower fairy gritted her teeth, madly extracted the immortal power in her body, stepped on the orchid, and hurriedly chased after it. However, the flower fairy exhausted her strength and couldn't close the distance with the soul-devouring bug. After a while, the flower fairy raised her eyebrows and her face changed slightly. Dragon Clan? Divine Turtle Clan? Is this going to slaughter the central prefecture immortal city? Damn it, do you really think my human race is easy to bully? The flower fairy muttered to herself, her face full of anger. When she scanned with her divine sense, she found that the soul-devouring bug had disappeared without a trace, and she didn't know where it went. It seems that the young master sent me to deal with them. It turns out that this is what the young master meant by letting the 9 heavens god Luan feed the bug. Young master, I understand. The flower fairy's face was full of joy. She stretched out her right hand, shaking up layers of transparent ripples. One step out, instantly disappearing in place. Chapter 267. Above the central prefecture immortal city. Flowing light flickered, loud noises continued. Layers of air waves spread in all directions. Mu Shiji, Qing Fu and Xian Lao were locked in a fierce battle. The terrifying aftermath rushed straight into the sky, spreading in all directions. A group of giant dragons and black turtles all stayed away from the center of the battle, watching from afar. Inside the central prefecture immortal city, a group of immortal cultivators looked up at the sky, couldn't help but open their mouths wide, muttering for a long time without saying a word. That kind of shocked look was hard to describe in words. Is this a battle between immortals? It's too scary. Yeah, it's scary. If I stand on the side, I'm afraid I'll be smashed into pieces by the aftermath. Thanks to those bastards today, if it wasn't for their protection, I'm afraid we wouldn't have a chance to survive just by relying on the city protecting formation. Yeah. I hope Immortal Mu can win. Everyone looked at the sky, staring directly at Mu Shiji. They saw Mu Shiji punch out twice. Boom. Boom. Two loud noises shook the sky. Qing Fu and Mu Shiji stepped back. The two of them looked at each other with fear written all over their faces. Xian Lao stood in place, unharmed. The punch just now was repelled by the power of Xian Lao's rebound. Every time it came to a critical moment, Xian Lao could block the attack. Fighting until now, he still couldn't make Qing Fu transform into his original body. What to do? Mu Shiji furrowed his brows and looked like he was in deep thought. Now, his immortal power had been exhausted. Once it was exhausted, he would definitely be suppressed by them, and death was a matter of time. If he didn't die, then the millions of immortal cultivators below would not survive. Absolutely not. Mu Shiji roared, and once again rushed towards Qing Fu. Xian Lao, stop him for me. Qing Fu roared. Okay, I'll keep you safe, don't worry and use your big move. After saying that, Xian Lao's body was like a wind blade, spinning rapidly, straight towards Mu Shiji. The two fought again, unable to stop. On the other side. Damn little bug, you want to stop me, you die. Qing Fu roared, his body rapidly expanded, turning into a giant green dragon. Then, he took out the primordial bell in front of him and spat out the dragon pearl. Countless azure threads flowed into the chaos origin bell like the Milky Way of the 9 heavens. The primordial bell contained a shocking might. Stop! A roar shook the heavens and the earth. The limitless stillness was unleashed by Grasshopper. Mu Shiji's scalp tingled, and he quickly used his movement technique to flee. However, it was too late. Buzz! The primordial bell rapidly arrived and enveloped Mu Shiji. At this moment, Mu Shiji seemed to have lost contact with his body and was unable to move. Strangely, he was like a spectator who could see green grasshopper flying towards his body. You forced me to use this move. Even if you die, you can laugh proudly at the world. The green hornless dragon spoke in the human language, its face twisted. I will give you a chance. As long as you tell me where Sun Hao is, I can give you a quick death. After this sound, Mu Shiji found that he could move. He opened his mouth and spat out a mouthful of saliva, which landed right on Qing Fu's face. I will make you wish you were dead. As soon as he said that, Mu Shiji realized that he had become a passerby again, unable to move. Buzz! A dragon claw covered the sky and clawed at Mu Shiji. The dragon claw tore through the sky, making a harsh noise. Seeing that it was about to grab Mu Shiji. At this time, in the sky, it suddenly began to rain. No, it should be said that flowers were falling. Endless orchids sprinkled all over the world. The orchids hit the primordial bell and made a ringing sound. Gotcha! On the primordial bell, cracks spread directly. The green hornless dragon's scalp exploded, its eyes widened, full of disbelief. An orchid fell on its claws, burning out wisps of black smoke. In the blink of an eye, the claws became scorched yellow, and the smell of barbecue filled the surroundings. In the distance, the onlookers were covered by orchids and let out incomparably miserable screams. In less than a moment it was tender on the inside. Countless orchids wrapped these giant dragons and sent them directly to the central prefecture Immortal City. Boom! The divine turtle shield in the sky instantly burst apart. Tens of thousands of dragon corpses slowly fell into the central prefecture Immortal City. The smell of barbecue, mixed with the fragrance of orchids, filled the entire central prefecture Immortal City. The fragrance entered the nose, the mouth and tongue salivated, and the stomach unconsciously growled. A group of immortal cultivators stared blankly at this scene, their faces full of disbelief. Roasted dragon meat was placed all over the city, like a peerless delicacy presented in front of them. It felt like all of this was like a dream, extremely unreal. This level of strength was simply earth-shattering and unimaginable. Killing tens of thousands of giant dragons, gouging out their internal organs and burning them into barbecue, the whole process happened in a few breaths. If they didn't see it with their own eyes, who would dare to believe it? Look! A cry of alarm woke everyone up. Looking up, they saw a woman surrounded by orchids slowly descending. Every step she took, orchids grew under her feet, and it was suffocating to see. The person who came was the flower fairy. She was like a goddess descending from the sky, untainted by the mortal world. That's the flower fairy, one of the 9 immortals of the human race. What? The flower fairy is here? It seems that it must be the order of the godly cunning immortal. We're saved, we're saved. A group of immortal cultivators shed tears of gratitude. The flower fairy looked at this scene calmly and opened her mouth to speak. Under the order of the godly cunning immortal, slaughter the dragon race. Since ancient times, the dragon race has fed on my people, cruel and heartless, they should gnaw their flesh and devour their bones. Listen up, the dragon meat has been roasted, you can enjoy it to your heart's content. The flower fairy's words were like thunder, reverberating between heaven and earth. As soon as these words came out, the eyes of the group of immortal cultivators lit up, and they took a step forward and ran toward the nearest giant dragon. Taking out a small knife, cutting off a small piece and sending it into their mouth. The dragon meat was crispy on the outside and tender on the inside, fragrant and delicious. Mixed with a fragrance of orchids, it was simply wonderful. Although there was no salt, this taste, after eating, would be unforgettable. The surging immortal power flowed around in the meridians. The barrier of the realm was quickly broken. Gotcha! Everywhere, there was the sound of realm breakthroughs, like firecrackers ringing for a long time. It's so delicious, it's simply the best taste in the world. I didn't expect dragon meat to be so delicious, this life has not been lived in vain. Haha, to be able to eat dragon meat, I can die without regrets. If this matter gets out, it will definitely cause a sensation in the 3 realms, and we will definitely become legends and be remembered by future generations. That's right, the people of a city are eating the dragon race, the whole world is celebrating, I'm afraid no one can break it. Such a voice resounded throughout the entire immortal city. The cultivators in the city, regardless of men and women, old and young, were all happily sharing the dragon meat at this moment. That scene of bustling activity was indescribable in words. Chapter 268. Qing Jiang transformed into a human form, looking at the broken primordial bell in his hand. He couldn't help but widen his eyes. How? Isn't it only the immortal king can break it? Qing Jiang's voice trembled, and his face was full of shock. His eyes swept across the central prefecture immortal city, and his chest suddenly stagnated. Anger from the soles of his feet straight up. 80 points of anger, burning from the heart to the whole body. The blood in his whole body seemed to be burning, his eyes blood-red, staring at the cultivators of the central prefecture immortal city. You ants dare to eat my people in front of this seat today, you must die, must die. Ants die for this seat. Howl, a dragon roar, shaking heaven and earth. Qing Jiang transformed into his original form again, and spat out the dragon bead. The cyan dragon bead exuded a shocking pressure, as if it could destroy the heavens and the earth. However, the cyan dragon bead flew uncontrollably toward the flower fairy and fell into her hands. The cyan light blooming above the dragon bead gradually extinguished, as if it was sealed. When Qing Jiang saw this scene, his scalp exploded. At this moment, he seemed to discover the existence of the flower fairy. Who the hell are you? A flower demon dares to oppose my dragon clan? Qing Jiang looked at the flower fairy, gritted his teeth and roared. Hee. The flower fairy smiled slightly, full of charm. Oppose? Can you represent the dragon clan? Many times you have come to my human race to behave atrociously, the godly cunning immortal has long been unable to stand it. Eating 2 of your people, you actually want to slaughter the Western Prefecture Immortal City. Now, you actually want to slaughter the entire Tianluo continent. Do you think the young master will let you go? Today, no one can save you. The flower fairy's voice was like thunder, echoing back and forth between heaven and earth for a long time. When this voice reached the ears of the immortal cultivators below, a look of realization appeared on their faces. It turns out that the one who eats the dragon clan is the godly cunning immortal. Awesome. I thought it was someone else? Turned out to be the god I admire the most. I should have thought of it long ago. Who else could it be but the godly cunning immortal? Oh, it's so fragrant, this dragon meat is so chewy. Such voices kept exploding in the central prefecture Immortal City. Seeing this, the corner of Grasshopper's mouth twitched. He was so angry that he felt like his chest was going to explode. The other side. When the old master of the God Turtle clan, Xian Lao, saw this, his expression changed again and again. Endless regret was written all over his face. This expedition was like kicking an iron plate, and the one who was hurt was himself. What should he do now? Xian Lao signaled to his men. They immediately backed away from the battlefield. However, did I say you could leave? A thunderous voice reverberated in his mind, causing it to buzz. Xian Lao revealed a ruthless expression as he turned into a rainbow and sped away. Phew, the sky shook and countless orchids rushed over. In an instant, Xian Lao was wrapped up like a dumpling. No matter how he struggled, it was useless. Run, run quickly. Any later and I'll be dead. The soldiers of the Divine Tortoise Army all used their techniques and fled frantically. Humph, offending the human race, you come and go as you please. Dream on. A loud shout shook the minds of the Divine Turtle warriors, causing them to buzz and tremble. All of his techniques disappeared in response. Their bodies were wrapped in orchids all over the sky. Ah, don't! No! Screams, shouts, constantly intertwined. The whole scene was in chaos. After a while, the orchids disappeared, leaving only an incomparably huge roasted tortoise on the field. Phew! These tortoises fell from the sky and landed in the central prefecture Immortal City. Roasted tortoise? It smells so good. I've eaten stewed tortoise before, but this is the first time I've eaten roasted tortoise. Such a big one, it's enough for me to eat for 10 days. Exclamations kept ringing out. The roasted tortoise was divided and eaten by everyone. When Xian Lao saw this scene, his old face twitched slightly. A touch of extreme regret was written all over his face. You dare to eat my people, you will regret it. My God Turtle clan will definitely trample your mountains and rivers. Before the words fell. Boom! A slap, slapped hard on the face, made Xian Lao dizzy. You help the wicked, and you still dare to speak so wildly. After speaking, the flower fairy slapped down again. Buzz! Xian Lao's head roared. His 2 eyes rolled, and it took a long time for him to wake up. He lowered his head, shut his mouth and said nothing. On the other side, Mu Shiji took a few long breaths and then calmed down. An immortal could actually be strong to this extent, really powerful. Greetings, senior. Mu Shiji stood in front of the flower fairy, clasped his fists and saluted. No need, as a fellow protector of the human race, we are fellow cultivators, you can call me Xiaolan. The flower fairy said. This, Miss Xiaolan is too polite. Mu Shiji saluted. Polite my ass, I'm not dead yet, do you think I don't exist? The grasshopper let out a roar. Since you want to die so much, as you wish. The flower fairy smiled slightly, stretched out her finger, and gently pointed. Swoosh, hundreds of millions of orchids intertwined, entangled with each other, and soon, condensed into a big hand that covered the sky. Buzz! The big hand that covered the sky emitted a shocking pressure, pressing down on the grasshopper. No, boom! 2 sounds rang out at the same time. It shook people's ears, and their minds trembled. With the grasshopper as the center, a dazzling light was emitted. The whole world was trembling violently. Endless shock waves spread between heaven and earth, surging in all directions. After a long time, the sky gradually calmed down. Looking up, everyone's pupils couldn't help but shrink, their faces were full of disbelief. What? He's fine? No injuries at all? How is this possible? That didn't blast him to death? Could it be that he has a protective treasure on him? Everyone's eyes were fixed on the grasshopper. They saw the grasshopper floating in the sky, his face full of astonishment. Not dead, I actually didn't die. The grasshopper muttered to himself, his face full of joy. Seeing this scene, the flower fairy frowned slightly. The expression on her face fluctuated. Who? Hurry up and get out. The flower fairy's voice was like thunder rolling out. After this sound, whoosh, a gust of wind passed, and the sky was torn open. Gotcha! Cracks quickly spread in all directions. A circular hole spread in the sky. The golden light, like silk, fell straight down. It covered the sky and the earth, like the Milky Way pouring down from the 9 heavens, reflecting the entire world in gold. Holy aura, whistling in all directions from the sky, enveloping the 9 heavens and 10 earths. At this moment, everyone's mind trembled, and their hearts were warm. In the eyes of the immortal cultivators, there was a fiery gaze. They looked at the sky and the earth together, as if looking at a god descending from the sky. Buzz, a roar shaking the world. A giant in a golden robe slowly descended from the sky. His whole body, emitting wisps of golden light, making people unable to look directly at him. Between the giant's eyebrows, there was a golden mark incomparably sacred. At this moment all things surrendered. All around there was a dead silence. The flower fairy looked at the mark on the giant's eyebrows, and her heart couldn't help but tremble. Not good, immortal king. Chapter 269. Second brother? Grasshopper looked at the golden giant, looking stunned for a while. That's right, this golden giant was Grasshopper's second brother, Wu. Wu looked at Grasshopper and shook his head for a while. Humph, being bullied to this extent by a few ants, you still have the face to call me second brother. You've lost all your face. Wu's eyes swept and stared directly at the flower fairy. Boom, the shield on the flower fairy's body cracked. Puff, a mouthful of blood spurted out. The flower fairy's face was pale, holding her chest, supporting herself not to fall. Just a look actually made her seriously injured. Is this the power of the immortal king? Where the gaze is, the great Tao is used. Too strong. Not dead? In Wu's eyes, there was a trace of astonishment. It's a bit interesting, a little flower demon. Can the physical body be strong to this extent? Grasshopper was defeated by you. It's not an injustice. I'll give you a chance, surrender to this seat, and I can spare your life. Wu's voice was like thunder shaking out. These sounds blasted in the ears of the flower fairy, and her mind was shaken. Surrender? Hee. I advise you to run away quickly, otherwise you will definitely leave your life here. On the face of the flower fairy, there was a cold smile. That contempt, there was no concealment. Courting death. Wu's face was full of anger, and the golden flames on his body soared up. In that case, all of you go to hell. Wu's eyes spewed out a ball of nothingness. This ball of flame, rising into the air, quickly condensed into a golden fire dragon phantom, enveloping the entire world. Infinite pressure emanated from the fire dragon phantom, whistling in all directions. Boom, a dull loud noise. The great city protection array directly collapsed into powder and disappeared without a trace. The pressure spread down, enveloping the entire central prefecture immortal city. At this moment, a group of immortal cultivators seemed to be carrying a huge mountain, their bodies trembling violently. Plop! One by one, they involuntarily knelt down. Finally, they crawled on the ground, shivering. Oh my God, immortal king descends, are we finished? No, the godly cunning immortal will save me, let's pray quickly. Haha, I have died with no regrets. Dragon meat is really fragrant. I really want to eat it again. Of course. Don't be so arrogant, you worm. The godly cunning immortal will make you pay. From time to time, Wu would hear such a voice. Godly cunning immortal? Make me pay? Hee hee, I've never heard of such a name. No matter how big an ant is, it is still an ant. You ants go to hell. The fire dragon opened its mouth and spat out flames that engulfed the entire world. The extreme temperature seemed to be able to melt the heavens and earth as it poured down. It looked like everyone was about to be incinerated on the spot. At this moment, buzz, ripples appeared in the air and a fish hook fell from the sky. Bang, the fire dragon phantom immediately shattered into light and shadow, disappearing without a trace. All the suppressive aura dissipated. At this moment, everyone regained their freedom. They stared at the fish hooks in the sky in confusion. That's a fish hook. What's it for? Could it be that it was thrown by the godly cunning immortal? He saved us? That's not nonsense, except for the godly cunning immortal, who in the world today has such ability. Everyone's faces were full of worship and did not dissipate for a long time. Young master, your means are really unimaginable. The flower fairy looked at the fish hook with a smile on her face. Then, she withdrew her gaze, looked at Wu, and secretly shook her head. Let's go, it's enough to have the young master here. After the flower fairy finished speaking, she flew out. Mu Shiji looked dazed, nodded, and also flew away with the flower fairy. Want to run? Wu woke up from his shock and saw the two fleeing, and he couldn't help but be angry. The Tao seal between his eyebrows burst out two golden beams of light and went straight to the two. However, buzz, the fish hook trembled slightly, and the golden beam disappeared. Wu's mind trembled, and a needle pain came from between his eyebrows. He looked at the fish hook in the sky with a look of fear. Damn it, what the hell is this? Wu looked at Qing Fu and roared loudly. Second brother, I don't know, it must be the means of the godly cunning immortal. Qing Fu said. Godly cunning immortal? Who cares what Taoist you are, go to hell. Wu roared, and the flames on his body rose, blooming with dazzling light. At this moment, even the sunlight lost its color, and it could not be compared. These flames, condensed together, formed a 1,000-meter-long golden giant sword. Whoosh, the golden giant sword swung through the air, aimed at the fish hook and stabbed over. However, gotcha, like an egg hitting a stone. The golden giant sword cracked, collapsed into countless light shadows, and disappeared. This, Wu's eyes widened, full of disbelief. For a long time, he didn't recover from the shock. This fish hook is weird, it can swallow any great Tao. In other words, he is the king of the Tao. Since the great Tao can't work, then you can't do anything to my body, right? Thinking like this, Wu stretched out his sky-covering fist, aimed at the fish hook, and blasted over. Boom! Heaven and earth shook, deafening. Wu's body flew out like a kite with a broken string. Finally, it landed outside the central prefecture Immortal City, blowing up one side of the mountain range. Boom! The dull sound, continuous between heaven and earth, lasted for a long time. Dust rose into the air, enveloping everything. Qing Fu looked at this scene, opened her mouth wide, and murmured for a long time. Even second brother was defeated? This is impossible, this is a dream. Qing Fu kept shaking her head, unwilling to believe the scene in front of her. On the other side, Xian Lao stayed where he was, the white beard at the corner of his mouth trembling slightly. He looked at the fish hook in the sky, took a step, and fled quickly. However, whoosh, the fish hook suddenly accelerated, falling from the sky, and in an instant, it fell in front of Xian Lao. Xian Lao's scalp exploded and cold sweat flowed. Just as he was about to turn around and flee, His face changed, and his eyes bloomed with a strange light. That expression, as if seeing a piece of delicious food. Without thinking, he opened his mouth and bit down. The fish hook flew up to the sky with Xian Lao. Xian Lao's body changed rapidly, and after turning into a black turtle, his body shrank rapidly. No! Dragon Lord, save me, save me! The fish hook took him and disappeared into the void. His voice echoed between heaven and earth, and did not dissipate for a long time. Qingfu looked at this scene, and her face changed greatly. He shrank his neck, his face full of fear. Suddenly, boom, a loud noise. The earth shook and the mountains shook. Wu flew out of the dust, standing high in the sky. Damn it, damn it! I don't care who you are, you must die today. If you know what's good for you, hurry up and get out of here, otherwise, all these ants will be buried with you. Wu's voice shook out, and did not dissipate for a long time. However, there was no reaction from the surroundings. Good, very good, in that case, all you ants go to hell. Chapter 270. In the Lake of Jade. Help, help! The old ancestor of the god turtle clan, Xian Lao, kept calling out for help. Deep fear could be seen on its face. I was wrong, let me go! Who is it? How could he have such strength? Lord Immortal King, please spare my life. Xian Lao muttered to himself, getting closer to the water surface. What? A mortal? A mortal dares to fish for me? Are you rebelling? Just as Xian Lao was about to fight back, his eyes swept across and his expression changed drastically. Immortals! They're all immortals! Even the weakest of them is an arcane immortal. Patriarch! It's over, it's over! Xian Lao muttered to himself, his face was ashen. Beside the jade pond. Did you see that? I caught a turtle. The sound woke everyone up with a start. Everyone's eyes focused on Sun Hao. Old man Jiyo narrowed his eyes and raised his eyebrows, his expression changing. How is this a tortoise? This is a divine turtle. The strength of this black turtle has obviously reached the celestial realm. Young master, you just threw the fishing rod down and you caught the black turtle? This is unbelievable. Old man Jiyo muttered to himself, looking at Sun Hao with a face full of worship. There's no black turtle in this pool. In that case, doesn't that mean that young master used the great Tao of transformation, great Tao of space, and great Tao of void? To combine them so perfectly, who can compete with the great Tao of angling? She actually wanted to let young master win? Why would the young master need to give way? Where's your shame? Thinking of this, old man Jiyo's face involuntarily turned red. He lowered his head in shame, not daring to look at Sun Hao's eyes. Nothing is impossible in this world if you put your mind to it. It's the same with fishing. It's all about the heart. No matter how strong you were in the past or how amazing you are in other aspects, you must maintain an empty cup mentality, a mentality of learning. Sun Hao's voice blasted into old man Jiyo's ears like thunder. He sat there in a daze, as if he was thinking about something. After a while, his face lit up. Young master, I understand. Not far from him, Zhongli Lang took out the jade slip, and when he saw the message on it, his eyes couldn't help but widen. Unexpectedly, the immortal king had come, but even the young master's fish hook couldn't catch it. That old bastard deserved to end up like this. Of all people to help, he actually dared to help the Dragon Clan. Moreover, to go against the young master, was this any different from courting death? It seems that I was worried for nothing. The young master is completely calculating everything. So this is why young master asked us to fish. He has long set up the big picture in the central prefecture Immortal City, waiting for the big fish to take the bait. Young master, you're really amazing. Zhongli Lang looked at Sun Hao with a look of incomparable worship. In the adoring eyes of everyone, Sun Hao put Xian Zhe into the fish basket and threw the fish hook again. Fishing isn't difficult, but it's not easy either. The most important thing is the moment the fish takes the bait. If the time is too short, the fish will not have swallowed the bait. If the time is too long, the fish will swallow the bait and escape. Everyone listened to Sun Hao explain fishing and nodded from time to time. At Sun Hao's feet in the fish basket, Xian Lao laid inside, not moving at all. A dispirited look appeared on his face. Tell me, what kind of agreement did you reach with the Dragon Clan? At this time, a roar came into his ears. Looking up, he happened to see Huang Ruming's eyes like a knife. Under the calm face, there was a hidden murderous intent. Xian Lao could confirm that if he answered wrongly, he would die immediately. You are? Xian Lao asked. Huang Ruming. This sound was like a thunderclap in Xian Lao's mind. You aren't. Isn't he dead? Isn't he? Huang Ruming's voice was cold. Yes, no, so. I'm sorry, Princess. I didn't mean to offend you. Xian Lao said. I'll give you another chance. Tell me the agreement with the Dragon Clan, or die. Huang Ruming said. Hey, Princess, if you want to kill me, I will never frown. Anyway, this is the end. If you give me a quick death, I still have to thank you. Xian Lao closed his eyes and quietly waited for death. You. Huang Ruming's chest stagnated. Unexpectedly, this old guy was not afraid of death. Don't tell me there is no weakness without you? Want to die? It's not that simple. I will take you and slaughter your people. Huang Ruming said. Princess, please do as you please. I know you are not the kind of person who kills innocent people. I advise you, don't go to the God Turtle Clan, otherwise, I'm afraid you can't afford the consequences. After saying this, Xian Lao closed his eyes, his limbs retracted into the shell, and he was motionless. He let Huang Ruming use all her means, and he no longer said a word. Huang Ruming frowned and kept thinking. On her face, there was a look of worry. I don't know how the Mother Queen is? How about I tell the young master to go back to the demon Ancestor mountain tomorrow? No, the young master said that there seems to be something important in the Penglai continent. The young master's important matter can't be delayed. What should I do? Huang Ruming muttered to herself, and for a while, she hesitated. Suddenly, there was a vibration. Her right hand picked up a communication jade slip. Seeing the message in the jade slip, Huang Ruming's pupils shrank, and her face changed drastically. Damn it! Huang Ruming cursed angrily and put away the jade slip. She looked at Sun Hao and saw that he was seriously explaining fishing knowledge, and her body slowly disappeared in place. When she appeared again, she had already arrived at the Great Demon Mountain. In front of Huang Ruming, the 9-headed snake fell to the ground, with scars all over its body. 9 heads, only 8 were left. One of them was also cut in half. Master! Seeing Huang Ruming's arrival, the 9-headed snake struggled to get up. What's going on? How did you get hurt so badly? Huang Ruming frowned, her face full of worry. Master! Master, run! After saying this, the 9-headed snake fell to the ground, twitched a few times, and then there was no movement. Was it discovered? Know that I am still alive. What happened to the demon Ancestor mountain? Huang Ruming frowned and her face was full of doubts. Suddenly, Xiao, a sound of breaking air sounded. A wisp of black gas shot at Huang Ruming. The black gas burst and surged rapidly. In an instant, it enveloped Huang Ruming. However, when the black mist touched Huang Ruming's body, it was all blocked by her clothes, unable to get close. The black mist was burned, sizzling. What? Supreme immortal clothes! An exclamation sounded from the black mist. Humph! Huang Ruming snorted coldly, and her right hand gently grabbed forward. A bug with black gas was pinched in her hand. Why do you want to kill the 9-headed snake? Who instructed you? Huang Ruming's voice was cold. Ha, I won't tell you. The black bug spat out the human language. If that's the case, then die. Huang Ruming released her breath, suppressing the black bug so that it could not move. I said I was Before the words fell, boom, the black bug's body directly exploded into powder. Curse of destruction? Huang Ruming looked at this scene, her face full of worry. No, I must return to the demon Ancestor mountain as soon as possible. Tonight I will leave with the young master. Thinking like this, Huang Ruming's figure flashed and disappeared instantly. When she appeared again, she had already arrived at the blue pool. She saw that Sun Hao was continuing to explain the way of fishing. Chapter 271. Above the Central Prefecture Immortal City. Good, very good. Since that's the case, all of you ants can go to hell. Huo Wu stood in the sky, looking at the immortal cultivators of Central Prefecture Immortal City, and roared angrily. Phew! He transformed into a flaming dragon and enveloped the entire world. Its gigantic body stretched for 10 miles, and there was no end in sight. All of you ants must be slaughtered today. Let's start with you. Huo Wu stared at the flower fairy with surging killing intent. Seeing this, the corner of the flower fairy's lips curled up, revealing a nonchalant expression. Hee, go ahead. She stood where she was without any intention of moving. A puny little heavenly immortal actually dares to be so impudent? Die! Huo Wu let out an angry roar. A dragon pearl was spat out from its mouth. The golden flame emitted a dazzling light that made people unable to look directly at it. The shocking might caused the space around them to distort. It was a power that could destroy the heavens and extinguish the earth, leaving no one with the slightest desire to resist. Phew! The dragon pearl sped toward the flower fairy. The air around the flower fairy began to twist. His entire body seemed to have been imprisoned, and he was unable to move at all. Facing this, the flower fairy showed no sign of panic on her face. She stood there, motionless. The dragon pearl was about to strike her body and turn her into dust. At this moment, buzz! The void trembled as a fish hook descended from the sky. Kacha, the power that imprisoned the flower fairy's body, shattered. The flames on the dragon pearl were completely extinguished. This is impossible. Huo Wu's eyes widened in disbelief. That kind of shocked look was indescribable with words. Die! Huo Wu let out an angry roar. However, to his horror, he discovered that he had lost his connection with the Dragon Ball and was unable to use its power. In the next second, he was even more shocked. They saw. Kacha, the sound of an egg cracking rang out. A crack appeared on the surface of the dragon pearl and rapidly spread across the entire dragon pearl. As the hook fell, the cracks on the dragon ball became denser and denser. No, no! Huo Wu let out an unwilling roar. He soared into the sky and dove straight for the fish hook. The hook trembled slightly. Boom! With a loud bang, Huo Wu flew out like a kite with a broken string. It fell outside the Central Prefecture Immortal City and exploded a mountain range. The dull sound lasted for a long time. Shocking dust shrouded heaven and earth. Bang! Another loud noise came from the sky. The entire dragon ball exploded and turned into dust. This, Qing Fu stood in the distance, looking at this scene in a daze. She murmured to herself for a long time, but didn't say a word. His scalp went numb and a chill ran down his spine. His entire body trembled involuntarily like a frozen palace. He knew very well how terrifying a celestial king's dragon pearl was. It wouldn't be a problem for him to destroy the heavens and earth. Who would have thought that the dragon pearl of Second Brother's clone would actually shatter just like that? Not even the slightest bit of power was released? How was this possible? What kind of existence was the godly cunning immortal? How terrifying! Master, you must not slaughter the human race, or our race will be in danger. At this time, the high priest's words echoed in his mind. Qing Fu bowed her head, her face gloomy. He was not even a fart in front of the godly cunning immortal. If he had known, he should have listened to the high priest and not slaughtered the human race. It's all my fault that I was too impulsive. Qing Fu's face was full of regret. Suddenly, Swish, a sound of breaking through the air sounded. Looking up, he saw the fishhook flying toward him at high speed. This, Ching Fu's scalp exploded, and her body trembled violently. Without thinking about it, she used a secret technique to flee quickly. However, it was useless. The fishhook arrived in an instant and fell in front of Ching Fu. No, Ching Fu's face showed horror and let out an unwilling roar. The next second, his face changed from horror to joy, and without thinking about it, he aimed at the fishhook and bit down. Swish, the fishhook retracted and flew into the void with Ching Fu's body. At this moment, Ching Fu woke up and panicked. Her body shrank rapidly and disappeared into the void with the fishhook. "Second brother, save me! I don't want to die, I don't want to die." Between heaven and earth, these two sentences kept echoing. In Zhongfu Immortal City, a group of immortal cultivators looked at this scene, and the light of worship was written all over their faces. The godly cunning immortal is worthy of being a god. This method, no one can match. Too powerful, too mighty. Exclamations sounded constantly. Damn it! A roar shook heaven and earth. Huowu struggled to stand up, flew into the air, and looked at everyone coldly. Godly cunning immortal, right? This seat will remember you. Even if this seat dies, so what? This is just a clone of this seat. When the main body descends, it will be the time when your souls fly and scatter. No matter what, this seat will take you with me even if I die. Perish with me. Huowu looked up to the sky and laughed crazily. On his body, a golden beam of light broke through his body and covered his whole body. It looked like a golden hedgehog. Not good, he's going to self-destruct. What? If the immortal king wants to self-destruct, then within 100 miles, I'm afraid it will be flattened. What are you afraid of? With the godly cunning immortal here, can he self-destruct? In the central prefecture Immortal City, everyone gradually calmed down. For Huowu's self-destruction, they showed a look of indifference. Damn ants, be afraid, tremble. Huowu's divine sense swept, but found that there was no fear on everyone's face. They divided up the dragon meat together as if nothing had happened, eating happily. Damned ant, go to hell! Huowu let out a roar. His body swelled rapidly and seemed to explode. Seeing that he was about to explode. Buzz, in the sky, the fishhook trembled slightly. Huowu's body, like a deflated ball, quickly shriveled. This is impossible. Huowu was horrified to find that the power in his body was also dissipating rapidly. You guys wait, I will come back. Huowu used all his strength and slapped his head. Boom! With an explosion, his whole body directly collapsed into powder and disappeared on the spot. Buzz, the fishhook did not stop and continued to fall. After landing at the location where Huowu exploded, it penetrated the void again and disappeared. Everyone's eyes were fixed on the fishhook, motionless. What is this fishing line doing? I don't know, let's just watch. Soon after. No, a cry of unwillingness resounded through heaven and earth. A giant dragon emitting golden flames was pulled out of the void. It was the deity of Huowu. Its body shrank rapidly, was pulled into the void by the fishhook, and disappeared. Such a scene strongly stimulated everyone's nerves. Everyone's eyes widened, and they murmured for a long time without reacting. Hiss, the sound of inhaling cold air came one after another. A moment later. Ancestor, that is the deity of Huowu, right? That goes without saying. My God, it is said that the deity of Huowu is on the Blood Wolf star, right? Such a long distance, and he was actually fished over? The means of the godly cunning immortal are unimaginable. Chapter 272. The flower fairy stood in the sky, looking at the void, her eyes flashing. Young master, your strength is simply unimaginable. I feel that every word and every action of yours is a chess move. It seems that you are really setting up a big picture. The flower fairy muttered to herself for a long time before withdrawing her gaze. Then, she flew down and landed in the sky above the central prefecture immortal city. Everyone, my clan is weak and can be bullied by anyone. If it weren't for the godly cunning immortal, wouldn't you have already died? The flower fairy's voice blasted in everyone's ears like thunder. The immortal cultivators all lowered their heads, looking dispirited. The fundamental reason why we are weak is that we are not united. The strong will only suppress the weak and don't know how to help each other. How strong is the godly cunning immortal? Who can imagine? Such an existence doesn't mind that we are weak and saves us again and again. This kind of breadth of mind has never been seen before. If we still only know how to fight and don't know how to unite, sooner or later, we will be annihilated in the dust of history. The voice was not loud, but every word was full of weight. Many immortal cultivators lowered their heads in shame, regret written all over their faces. Okay, that's all for today. The dragon meat and the divine turtle meat are still hot, eat quickly. After saying this, the flower fairy turned into thousands of orchids, fell with the wind, and gradually disappeared. What remained in place was only the faint fragrance of orchids. Don't just stand there, hurry up and eat. After eating you have to work hard to cultivate. We must unite, let all races hear the word human race, and kneel on the ground trembling. In the central prefecture immortal city, there was a scene of bustling activity. Mu Shiji looked at the central prefecture immortal city, glanced around, and after confirming that it was safe, he took out a jade bottle, his eyes shining. There are still 4 bottles left. I think if I swallow all of them, my strength will increase a lot. At least I can reach the earth immortal level. After saying that, Mu Shiji's figure flickered and left quickly. Not long after he left, in the sky, a phantom slowly condensed. This phantom was covered with green hair all over, and it looked like a monster, very awe-inspiring. No one could see this phantom, as if it did not exist. Phew! The green-haired monster raised its claws and quickly opened them. A soul-devouring bug quickly flew over and landed in the green-haired monster's hand. Hee, the green-haired monster grinned and held the soul-devouring bug in his hand. Then, it looked at the immortal city in its eyes and disappeared. Beside the jade pond, Old Man Jiryo watched Sun Hao pull up the fishing rod motionlessly. After a while, his scalp went numb, and he broke out in a cold sweat. That's a celestial king-level dragon. What? Young Master used one hand to make it unable to move? All the power has been sealed. In front of the young master, the immortal king doesn't even have a chance to struggle. Old Man Jiryo's heart beat violently, and fine beads of sweat appeared on his forehead. In front of an immortal king, he didn't even dare to breathe loudly. In front of the young master, such an expert wasn't even worth a fart. From the looks of it, even immortal sovereigns and immortal emperors would have to kneel and lick the young master's boot. I didn't expect that I, the old man Jiryo, would not only obtain this kind of fortune, but also receive the young master's guidance. This was a supreme good fortune that could not be obtained even if one cultivated for 10,000 lifetimes. At this thought, old man Jiryo's face showed a touch of anxiety. Beside him, Luo Luoyan looked calm, without the slightest surprise. It was as if everything was within reason. Fellow Taoist Luo, aren't you surprised at all? Old man Jiryo transmitted his voice. Surprised? Luo Luoyan smiled and shook her head. This is nothing at all. The young master's true strength is simply unimaginable. I dare say that even the supreme immortal emperor doesn't even have a chance to struggle in front of the young master. As soon as these words came out, old man Jiryo took a breath of cold air. The supreme immortal emperor was far from comparable to the immortal emperor. Such a supreme power didn't even give a chance to struggle? Didn't it mean that the young master had reached the legendary realm? Hiss! Old man Jiryo's body trembled, and it took a long time for him to calm down. What a big eel! Sun Hao looked at the fireworm, and the light on his face kept flickering. He grabbed the fireworm in his hand, and with a gentle press, he sealed all the power in the fireworm. Throwing it into the fish basket, Sun Hao's eyes shone. An eel, and a tortoise. This was enough for these people to eat a big meal. Such strong immortal power, the fish in this world are really different. No wonder the taste is so beautiful. Sun Hao muttered to himself. It seems that no one can catch anything, but it's okay, these 3 big guys are enough for us to eat a meal. As soon as these words came out, the fireworm's body trembled. What? This mortal, no, the existence that couldn't see the realm, wanted to eat himself. Could it be that he was the godly cunning immortal? Heavens! Am I going to be eaten by the human race? No. In the fireworm's heart, there was a roar of unwillingness. Then, he fixed his eyes on the green grasshopper. He saw the green grasshopper lying in the corner, motionless. His eyes were full of regret. You animal, what kind of existence did you provoke? The fireworm let out a roar, waking up the green grasshopper. Second brother, I didn't want to, I didn't know he was so terrifying. The green grasshopper hung his head, looking dispirited. Do you know, my clan is finished. It's all because of you. Is your head filled with piss? You actually want to harm my clan, even if you have 10,000 lives, it's not enough to die. The fireworm's eyes spewed fire, as if to swallow the green grasshopper. Brother, my clan is finished? Don't joke around. No matter how strong the godly cunning immortal is, can he be as strong as father? Can he be as strong as the ruler? Besides, my clan's ancestor, that is a supreme existence, even the Thunder Tribulation ruler has to be afraid of the existence. I think this godly cunning immortal is at most a 3rd-grade immortal king. The green grasshopper said. 3rd-grade immortal king? T. Without releasing any power, he sealed my dragon pearl, and also sealed the power of my physical body. In the world today, who has such means? I dare say that the Ancestor doesn't have such means. The fireworm roared angrily, scolding the green grasshopper dumbfounded. Doesn't that mean the godly cunning immortal is stronger than the Ancestor? The green grasshopper asked. Of course. Second brother, what should we do? Quickly send a message to father, don't let him come to Xiang's star. The green grasshopper said. I've tried, it's useless, no means can be used. I just hope that after father learns of my death, he won't find this place. The fireworm said. Second brother, I sent someone to deliver immortal wine to father, I think father will come here soon. The green grasshopper said. Immortal wine? What immortal wine? The fireworm looked puzzled. Second brother, it's like this. The green grasshopper told the story of the immortal wine. Immediately. You animal, see if I don't kill you. It's all because of you, my clan is in danger. After saying that, the fireworm pounced on the green grasshopper. Chapter 273. This eel is so fierce. It actually wants to bite the eel. Alright, you're all going to be eaten anyway, so stop messing around. Sun Hao stretched out his hand and pressed it on Huowu's body. Suddenly, he felt powerless and unable to move. He lay there obediently, not moving an inch. That's right. Everyone, it's getting late. Let's go back. Stew the 3 big guys together in a big hot pot, Sun Hao said. Young master. Old man Jiu stood up and saluted Sun Hao with his fists. I'm really sorry, I still have important things to do, so I can't accompany you. As soon as these words came out, swish, everyone turned to look at him. Many people were astonished. You actually don't want to eat young master's hot pot? Old man Jiu, did your head get kicked by a donkey? Are you afraid of offending the dragon clan? As for that, with the young master, what did the dragon race count for? Old Jiu, since you have something to do, then I won't keep you. Sun Hao said. Many thanks, young master. Old man Jiu bowed deeply to Sun Hao. Young master, I'll send him off. I'll look for you later. Taoist Rua she stood up and said, All right. Seeing Sun Hao nod, the two turned into long rainbows and left quickly. Dreamlike. Sun Hao's voice awakened Huang Rumeng. She hurriedly ran forward. Gongzi! Come on, let's go back to the Supreme Court together. Yes, young master. Old man Jiyo, I didn't expect you to be so timid. Taoist Ra she looked at old man Nine Nether and shook her head. Fellow Taoist Ra she, why do you say that about me? Old man Jiyo looked puzzled. Young master invited us to a meal. Don't you know what we ate? He's just the son of the Milky Way Dragon King. You actually found an excuse to be afraid of being tainted by karma. If this isn't cowardice, then what is? Also, you are completely doubting the young master's ability. Taoist Ra she showed a look of resentment. Fellow Taoist Ra she, I think you misunderstood. I am in a hurry to leave for another reason. Old man Jiyo said. Another reason? What could be more important than obtaining good fortune? Taoist Rua she looked puzzled. The human race is weak. Young master is very worried. I'm ashamed that I can't share some of the burden with young master. It's all my fault. I've learned too many things and am proficient in all of them. Today, when we were fishing, the young master's words made me wake up. So, I left in a hurry and prepared to train hard. Nine Nether's face was filled with gratitude. Wake me up? What did you comprehend? Taoist Rua she looked puzzled. Young master reminded me to disperse my cultivation and focus on cultivating the great Tao of fishing. Fellow Taoist Ra she, I have to find a place to disperse my cultivation. Old man Jiyo solemnly said. What? Taoist Ra she's expression froze, and her face was full of shock. You don't know what it means to disperse your cultivation, do you? It means you become a mortal and start all over again. Old man Jiyo, don't be rash. When he raised his head, he discovered that old man Jiyo had already disappeared. He had no idea where he had gone. Sigh, looks like the 9 immortals of the human race will become the 8 immortals. Taoist Rua she sighed and her figure slowly disappeared. Northeast of the Central Plains. There was a barren mountain range here. At the bottom of the mountain range was one of the Tianluo continent's 5 great life-forbidden zones, Dragon Tomb. In a passageway in the Dragon's Tomb. Go, don't worry about me. A man with scars all over his body gasped and roared loudly. This person was the ancestor of the Xianyuan family, Xianyuan Lai. Back then, after eating dragon meat, he took Xianyuan Shi into the dragon's tomb. Along the way, he broke into many traps, survived in danger, and finally obtained a treasure. Presumably, the young master would be very happy to see this treasure. Ancestor, how can this be? We're almost at the exit, let's go. Xianyuan Shi helped Xianyuan Lai up and ran with him to the exit. Don't worry about it. You escape with the Void Pearl, there is still a glimmer of hope. Hurry up. Xianyuan Lai pushed Xianyuan Shi away. He revealed a resolute expression as he strode forward and headed back. Ancestor. Xianyuan Shi roared loudly. Don't worry about it, you must give the Void Pearl to the young master. After saying this, Xianyuan Lai grabbed toward the sky with his right hand. Above his right palm, a raging fire ignited. A fireball quickly condensed. Come on! Xianyuan Lai let out a roar and rushed forward with the fireball. Boom! A loud noise shook the entire passageway, causing it to buzz and shake. Dust enveloped the surroundings in an instant, disappearing without a trace. When the dust dissipated, Xianyuan Lai struggled to get up, and when he saw the scene in front of him, he couldn't help but feel his scalp explode. He saw 2 big blood-red eyes staring at him blankly. The size of the eyeball was the size of a house. The monstrous blood energy whistled, pressing Xianyuan Lai's body to tremble, and cold sweat flowed. The 2 huge nostrils blew gently, like 2 gusts of wind sweeping over, blowing Xianyuan Lai upside down. This This is an ancient blood dragon, my god, there is actually this kind of demon suppressed in here. Xian Yuan Lai's voice trembled, and his legs trembled involuntarily. It seems that the one who released this deity is you. Well done! In order to express this deity's gratitude to you, this deity decided to let you turn into this deity's strength and follow this deity to conquer the world. This will be a great honor for you. Are you very happy? A huge blood-colored dragon head stared at Xian Yuan Lai and spoke in human language. Come on. The dragon head opened its big mouth and sucked hard. Boom! The entire passage, layer by layer, quickly flew into the big mouth. A terrifying suction wrapped Xian Yuan Lai and quickly flew into the big mouth. Xian Yuan Lai was about to be swallowed into the belly. At this time, buzz, a streak of sword light flashed and disappeared. Then, boom! There was a loud explosion. Boom! The ancient blood dragon's body flew out and fell heavily into the depths. Who? Xian Yuan Shi rushed over and took Xian Yuan Lai, running away quickly. Little Shi, why didn't you run away? Why did you come back? Xian Yuan Lai's face was full of bitterness. Ancestor, I just absorbed the last word. Although I haven't reached the immortal realm, I'm not weaker than an immortal. Although I'm not an opponent of the ancient blood dragon, it's no problem to take you away. Xian Yuan Shi said. Really? Congratulations. Xian Yuan Lai's eyes lit up. Ancestor, now is not the time to be happy. I'll take you away first. Xian Yuan Shi waved her right hand, and her body was like a long sword. She turned into a stream of light and rushed forward quickly. A moment later, the two of them came to the entrance of the dragon tomb. When they saw the scene in front of them, they couldn't help but raise their eyebrows and their expressions changed dramatically. The entrance of the dragon tomb can only be entered, not exited. What should we do? There's no way. I'll try to see if I can break it. After saying that, Xian Yuan Shi's eyes swept over, and a sword light condensed and formed, blasting at the entrance in an instant. Gotcha! There was a slight sound. Cracks appeared at the entrance. There's hope. Xian Yuan Lai's eyes lit up. Yes. Xian Yuan Shi nodded and was about to attack. Howl! A deafening dragon roar came from behind. Chapter 274. Dragon Tomb Entrance. Chen Dao-ming sat cross-legged on the ground, looking like he was cultivating. When Renshi looked at the sky with a melancholy face. AI. When Renshi sighed heavily and kept pacing in place. Old one, what's wrong with you recently? Why do you always sigh? Is there something on your mind? Chen Dao-ming opened his eyes and asked. No, nothing. When Renshi shook his head, I say, Leader Chen, we have been waiting for so long, how come there is no movement at all? Could it be that you have misunderstood the young master's meaning? Chen Dao-ming frowned slightly. Impossible, the young master is so obvious. He is talking about the dragon tomb. There may be a layer of meaning that has not been realized. But, when Elder Su comes, we will understand. Chen Dao-ming said. Well, Elder Su should be here soon, right? These words just finished. Whoosh, a long rainbow came quickly and landed in front of the two. The person who came was Su Yiling. So hungry. It's so tiring to travel. I finally found you. Su Yiling pressed her stomach and came forward. This was given to me by the young master, take a look. After speaking, Su Yiling took out 3 broken limbs of the statue and handed them to the two. Haha, when Renshi looked up to the sky and laughed like crazy. What are you laughing at? Chen Dao-ming asked. Do I still have to say this? This must be the good fortune that the young master sent to me. The young master must have asked me to cut off 3 limbs and integrate these 3 broken limbs of the statue. One Renshi said. Elder One, what do you mean by this? Chen Dao-ming asked. This is not simple. Why did the young master send 3 broken limbs? Not 2 or 1. Obviously, he meant for me to cut off my right arm and legs. Such a simple meaning, can't you understand it? Wenrensher's words made Chen Daoming speechless. It makes sense. Su Yiling nodded and said, I don't think so. Chen Daoming shook his head slightly. There are exactly 3 broken limbs, and we happen to have 3 people. I think the young master means for each of us to cut off a limb, Chen Daoming said. As soon as these words came out, Su Yiling's body trembled and she took 2 steps back. Her face showed a touch of fear. Leader Chen, didn't you say last time that the young master would not let me break my limbs? Last time was last time, this time is this time. Last time, I didn't know that severed limbs could regrow. Now that I know, things are different. This is a great fortune that the young master gave us, Elder Su, don't you want it? Chen Daoming said. This, Su Yiling looked at the broken limbs and couldn't help but take a few steps back. She pointed at the severed limb and said weakly, Alliance Leader Chen, you look at that severed limb, it's a claw. It doesn't suit us. As soon as these words came out, Chen Daoming and Wenrensher raised their eyebrows and looked at the 3 broken limbs, and the expressions on their faces changed. It looked like a dragon's claw. One was his right front paw, and the other 2 were his left and right back paws. Chen Daoming's eyes flashed. Indeed, it seems that it is not suitable for Elder Su. However, these 2 hind claws are quite suitable for me. If I can integrate these 2 hind claws, my strength will definitely advance by leaps and bounds. For my saber Dao, it will go further. Chen Daoming muttered to himself, his eyes flashing. When he was about to speak, wow, 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 the sound of 3 limbs being severed sounded. Looking up, he saw Wenrensher falling in a pool of blood, his left arm struggling to support. After mobilizing his immortal power, he stopped the wound on his body. Alliance Leader Chen, you see, this old man has cut off 3 limbs according to the young master's intention, Wenrensher said. The corner of Chen Daoming's mouth twitched slightly, and a heartache flashed away. Ah! Su Yiling's small mouth was wide open, and her face was shocked. Elder One was really powerful. He didn't even blink when he lost 3 limbs. What a real man! You are ruthless! The corner of Chen Daoming's mouth twitched slightly, and he was regretful. If he had known, why did he think so much? Just cut off his legs and talk about it. Ai. This was a heaven-shaking fortune. Just like that, he missed it. His heart ached. Alliance Leader Chen, you see, Elder One has lost 3 limbs. What should we do next? I think the young master must have other intentions? Su Yiling asked. Chen Daoming frowned and thought. After a while, he shook his head slightly. I am too stupid to understand the young master's meaning. Elder Wen's perception is good. I think he will understand. Chen Daoming said. Yes, Elder One, what does the young master mean? It can't be as simple as giving you good fortune, right? Su Yiling said. The corner of Wenrensher's mouth twitched slightly. Alliance Leader Chen, you are abusing your position to avenge personal grievances. 3 limbs are broken, and you still want to snatch it from me? Is it so beautiful to become a dragon claw? Wenrensher's eyes swept around, and finally stared at the entrance of the dragon tomb, and said, I think the young master wants me to throw my broken limbs inside. Elder Su, please help me. Wenrensher shouted. Okay. Su Yiling nodded. With a wave of her right hand, a stream of immortal power flowed, and Wenrensher's 3 broken limbs were thrown into the entrance of the dragon tomb. Buzz, with a flash of light, the 3 broken limbs disappeared. Elder One, these 3 broken limbs of the statue, you keep them. Su Yiling handed the 3 broken limbs of the statue to Wenrensher. Wenrensher waved his right hand and put the broken limbs of the statue into the soul space. Soon after, buzz, the entrance vibrated and a sudden change occurred. Dragon tomb, at the entrance. Howl, a dragon roar came from inside, shaking people's ears. Boom! Boom! The entire rock wall of the passage exploded on both sides and rose. The dust whistled, forming a vortex that flew toward the depths of the dragon tomb. In the blink of an eye, there was only a trace of edge left in the entire passage, just enough for Xianyuan Shi and Chen Daoming to stand. His gaze swept to the depths, and a sense of dizziness came. The depths of the dragon tomb, like a black hole, seemed to swallow the two of them. Buzz, suddenly. In the darkness, two blood-red eyes opened, and the red light swept over like a blood moon. The hairs on the two of them couldn't help but stand up, and the endless chill surged through their bodies. Two little dolls, good strength. This deity thanks you for saving me. In order to express the highest gratitude, this deity will swallow you and take you to conquer the world together. This will be your supreme glory. The ancient blood dragon opened its mouth and sucked hard. Whoosh, a terrifying devouring force enveloped the two of them in an instant. The two of them flew out uncontrollably. Buzz, Xianyuan Shi took out the immortal sword, inserted it into the ground, and held it tightly. The other hand was holding Xianyuan Lai. The two of their bodies, as if pulled straight, fluttered up and down. Little Shi, let go of me, or we will all die. Xianyuan Lai roared. Ancestor, don't say it, I won't let go. Xianyuan Shi gritted her teeth and insisted, not intending to let go at all. Two little dolls, it's a bit interesting, this deity wants to see how long you can hold on. The ancient blood dragon increased its strength and swallowed frantically. At this time, whoosh, three broken limbs rushed straight from the entrance and entered the ancient blood dragon's mouth in an instant. Whoosh, the chi and blood of the heavenly immortal realm rushed from the broken limbs and surged throughout the ancient blood dragon's body. The ancient blood dragon stopped devouring and quietly felt the surging power in its body. Chapter 275. Run! Xianyuan Lai looked at the hole at the entrance of the dragon's tomb and roared. Xianyuan Shi woke up with a start and quickly fled with Xianyuan Lai. They passed through the opening and disappeared into the dragon's tomb. When he reappeared, he was already at the entrance of the dragon tomb. Looking up, he saw Chen Daoming and the other two. Xianyuan Shi? Chen Daoming was slightly stunned. Did you come out of the dragon tomb? Xianyuan Shi was startled as well. She looked at the three of them with deep surprise in her eyes. They're all immortals, and I'm afraid they're not ordinary immortals. Now is not the time to talk. We must leave this place as soon as possible, Xianyuan Shi said. Why? Asked Chen Daoming. The ancient blood dragon has escaped. I don't know who threw away 3 severed limbs just now, but the ancient blood dragon has recovered at least some of its strength. Even a celestial king is no match for it, Xianyuan Shi said. What? Everyone's expression changed drastically as they cursed inwardly. It seemed like she had misunderstood the young master's meaning. It had actually allowed the ancient blood red to recover some of its strength. This was something unimaginable. However, since things had come to this, escaping was the best option. I must report this matter to the young master as soon as possible. Thinking like this, Chen Daoming carried Wenrenshi on his back and roared, Run! Swish, the 5 of them turned into streaks of light and fled quickly. It was as fast as it could be. Not long after, Buzz, the mountain range at the entrance of the dragon tomb, started to tremble slightly. As time passed, the tremors grew more and more intense. Boom! Boom! The entire mountain range exploded into pieces. Dust soared into the sky, tearing it apart. Endless waves of chi howled in all directions. It was as if doomsday had arrived, and it was extremely terrifying. Amidst the dust, 2 scarlet eyes emitted a netherworld red light that could shake one's soul. Howl! A dragon's roar resounded throughout heaven and earth. The heavens trembled and the earth shook. Beasts crouched on the ground and birds soared into the sky. It was as if the entire world was trembling. Phew! The blood-red light soared into the sky, directly into the 9 heavens, and reflected the entire world in the color of blood. Ha ha! The ancient blood dragon roared at the sky. The voice lingered for a long time. I'm back! You ants, start trembling. My people, return to me. The ancient blood dragon spat out a mouthful of blood-colored dragon breath into the sky. Phew! The dragon breath scattered in all directions, stirring up ripples in the sky. Monsters that were 10 meters tall and looked like tyrannosauruses crawled out of the ripples. Every tyrannosaurus had no skin, and the veins on their muscles were very clear. Roar! The rampaging dragons gathered around the ancient blood dragon and growled from time to time. There were so many of them that it was impossible to see the end of them. Children, go and hunt to your heart's content. This sound rose. Thud thud, it was like 10,000 galloping horses. The rampaging dragons scattered in all directions and ran forward. They hunted in groups of 3 to 5. Boom! The earth seemed to be unable to withstand their weight and kept sinking. The shocking dust shrouded heaven and earth. Seeing this, the ancient blood dragon roared into the sky. Howl! His voice reverberated throughout the world. An incomparably dense blood chi spread along with the voice. Wherever the blood chi went, the pressure would condense. Wherever it fell, the flying birds all fell to the ground, struggling non-stop on the ground, unable to fly again. Phew! The blood chi spread rapidly, and in an instant, it enveloped Chen Dao-ming and the others. Buzz! Everyone's mind shook, and their bodies seemed to become hundreds of millions of times heavier, falling down involuntarily. Boom! Several people fell to the ground and exploded into a cloud of dust, after struggling to get up. Not good! Qin Dao-ming's face changed drastically. Not good, the rampaging dragon. What? Rampaging dragon? Isn't this a savage beast from ancient times? How could there be one now? So many, at least hundreds of them have surrounded us. Looking at the blood-red eyes in the blood mist, everyone's face was full of fear. Miss Xianyuan, Senior Xianyuan, you are not an immortal, hide behind us. Chen Dao-ming protected the two behind him, looked at Su Yiling and said, Elder Su, it's up to us next. However, Su Yiling walked straight forward as if she hadn't heard him. So hungry, I'm really hungry. She pressed her stomach and repeated those words over and over again. Danger, these rampaging dragons are all at the Earth immortal level. The words just fell. The next scene couldn't help but make Qin Dao-ming's eyes widen, and his face was full of shock. Only to see. Su Yiling let go of her hands and roared, I don't care, I'll eat, I'll eat. This sound rose up. Roar, an earth-shattering roar. A Taotai phantom condensed and formed in the sky. Taotai opened its bloody mouth and sucked hard. All around, those 10-meter-tall rampaging dragons flew out uncontrollably, and all were swallowed into the belly of Taotai. In the blink of an eye, hundreds of rampaging dragons disappeared in place. The Taotai phantom dissipated, and the surroundings returned to normal. So full. Su Yiling touched her round belly with a look of satisfaction. Hey, what about the rampaging dragons? Where did they go? When she looked back, she saw everyone looking at her as if she was a monster. Why are you looking at me like this? Su Yiling looked puzzled. You ate the rampaging dragons. Chen Dao-ming said. What? Su Yiling was shocked. No wonder I'm so full. What can I do? Can that thing be eaten? Spit it out. However, it was useless. The warm current flowed through her whole body, which was extremely comfortable, and her realm was unconsciously improving. Go, don't be stunned, let's run. Chen Dao-ming's voice awakened everyone. Several people reacted, took a step forward, and ran wildly. Roar, a dragon roar shook the world. Damn little bugs, dare to kill my people, see if I don't destroy you. Children, go together. A few roars shook the world. Then, boom. The sound of thousands of horses galloping came quickly. The whole ground was shaking violently. Chen Dao-ming's scalp was numb, and his face changed dramatically. Damn, these rampaging dragons have speed bonuses in the blood mist. They are so fast that we can't escape at all. Chen Dao-ming said. Then what? Xianyuan Shi's face was full of worry. You run first, I'll bring up the rear. Chen Dao-ming's face showed determination. Leader Chen, how can this be? It's this old man who wants to bring up the rear. Anyway, I'm already a cripple. One Rincher said. It's not the time to fight. Chen Daoming looked at Xian Yuanlai. Senior, please take Elder One out. Okay. Xian Yuanlai took Wen Rincher and carried him behind his back. Go. Chen Daoming roared. Chen Daoming, you bastard, if you don't come back alive, I'll be a ghost. Bah. I won't let you go even if you become a ghost. The voice gradually disappeared. Chen Daoming pulled out half a hatchet, his face full of killing intent, and walked back step by step. Chapter 276. Supreme Court, Forbidden Area. In an attic, several people sat together, and there was a hot pot on the table. At this moment, there were only a few bones left in the hot pot. As for the fire and green mantis, they had been swallowed by several people. In the pond, there was also a turtle, which was the ancestor of the divine turtle clan, Xian Lao. Xian Lao opened his eyes and looked at the blood wolf that was gnawing on the bones. He couldn't help but raise his eyebrows, and his face changed slightly. This blood wolf is actually evolving, and looking at its evolutionary direction, it is completely the direction of the king of the beasts, the ancient divine beast Qilin. Although every beast has the chance to evolve into a Qilin, it is too slim. It seems that Sun Hao's means are unimaginable. In this world, there is such an existence. Could it be that he is more terrifying than it? Xian Lao muttered to himself, a thoughtful look. After a while, he shook his head slightly. Impossible, in this world, how could there be anyone more terrifying than it? Speaking of this, Xian Lao looked at Huang Rumeng with an apologetic face. Princess, I appreciate your kindness. However, for the sake of my clan, there is no other way. I wish I would die soon, even if I am eaten. Xian Lao muttered to himself, his face full of bitterness. Subsequently, he closed his eyes and remained motionless. There are still some bones left, come on, eat. Sun Hao poured all the bones and soup in the pot into the blood wolf. Then, he looked at Zhongli Lang and said, Dean, I have disturbed you for a long time, we will leave tomorrow. Hearing this, Zhongli Lang's body trembled. Did I do something wrong to make the young master angry? Young master, I won't disturb you. Is there anything that is not as you like? If you mention it, I will definitely change it. If you can stay here, it will be my great honor. Zhongli Lang said. No, I am very satisfied. But, speaking of this, Sun Hao sighed secretly. This sigh instantly attracted everyone's attention. Especially Luo Luyan, her eyes were motionless. The young master's instructions were fixed in it. Next, every action and every word of the young master must be remembered. Sun Hao stood up, looked into the distance, and said, People always have to go out and see the scenery outside. In this way, not only can I increase my knowledge, but I can also increase my knowledge. Boom! It was as if thunder had struck Luo Luyan's head. Luo Luyan listened to these words and kept them in mind. Young master is looking at the north. What is the meaning of this? Luo Luyan frowned slightly, showing a thoughtful look. After a while, I understand. Luo Luyan's eyes were shining and her face was excited. She stared at Sun Hao again. Suddenly, Sun Hao pressed his chest with a painful expression. Seeing this, Huang Rumeng ran over quickly and supported Sun Hao. Young master, is your heart hurting again? Huang Rumeng asked. Sun Hao nodded slightly. Young master, do you want to play music? Huang Rumeng waved her right hand, and the guqin was already placed in front of Sun Hao. All right. Sun Hao looked at the crowd, showing a bitter smile. Everyone, I'm sorry, I'll play a song first. Clang, the sound of the zither rang out. Wisps of colorful light flowed from Sun Hao's fingertips and circled around him. Under Sun Hao's control, these colorful lights quickly poured into Huang Rumeng's body. Huang Rumeng's strength was rapidly growing. After a while, Sun Hao stopped playing the guqin. He pressed his chest with a painful expression. Just now, his heartbeat was even more violent, very uncomfortable. What the hell is going on here? His body was obviously very good, but why was his heartbeat accelerating? Moreover, the beating speed was getting more and more intense. Why was it useless after playing a song? Is it because I deliberately controlled these colorful lights just now, so it has no effect? If that's the case, then I don't care. Thinking like this, Sun Hao continued to play the guqin. Clang, the sound of the guqin sounded, shaking out and reaching everyone's ears. Together with this sound, the scenery in front of everyone changed rapidly. There was a knowing smile on everyone's face. Clang, in addition to the rhythm left in the courtyard, other sound waves, with colorful light, poured into the void and disappeared. Not far from the dragon tomb, Chen Daoming picked up the hatchet, stood in place, closed his eyes, and remained motionless. Roar, around him, a violent dragon with monstrous blood energy surrounded him, gritting his teeth and roaring from time to time. Sharp teeth, emitting a metallic luster, seemed to be able to bite everything. Howl, the dragon roared. Dozens of Tyrannosaurus stepped forward and rushed towards Chen Daoming. The terrifying claws tore at Chen Daoming. Chen Daoming suddenly opened his eyes, and two sharp eyes burst out. At this moment, time seemed to stand still, and all the violent dragon's movements slowed down. Whoosh! Chen Daoming's figure flashed all around, waiting for time to recover. Boom! The violent dragon's body was broken and scattered. There was only Chen Daoming standing in the same place. He still closed his eyes, holding half of the hatchet in his hand, motionless. The whole process looked like when the violent dragon ran to Chen Daoming, its body scattered and died on the spot. Howl! The dragon let out a roar. At this moment, all the violent dragons rushed toward Chen Daoming like a tide. Boom! The loud noise continued. The ground buzzed and trembled, and dust rose into the sky. Sensing everything around him, the corner of Chen Daoming's mouth raised slightly. Just in time, I'll try this knife on you. Chen Daoming picked up the hatchet and waved it slowly. A circular arc-shaped knife aura centered on Chen Daoming, spreading out to the surroundings. This wisp of knife aura looked plain, without the slightest power. It didn't even let the violent dragon notice it. Boom! The first violent dragon touched the knife aura, and its body instantly burst into a blood mist, disappearing on the spot. Then, there was the second, the third. The violent dragon fell down quickly like wheat. When the knife aura disappeared, only Chen Daoming stood in place. All the violent wolves disappeared, and not a single one was left. If it weren't for the scarlet ground, all of this would be like a dream. The power is not bad. Chen Daoming opened his eyes, looked at the hatchet in his hand, and nodded with satisfaction. This move was also realized from the hatchet. With the release of the hatchet, the power soared. Damn it! A shocking roar resounded through the sky. You lowly ants, how dare you slaughter my people? Today, don't even think about escaping. Come back. A roar shook Chen Daoming's face white, and his heart beat wildly. A sense of powerlessness surged through his whole body. It's just a sentence, but it makes me feel so uncomfortable. Is this the power of the immortal king realm? It's terrible. Chen Daoming's face was full of fear. The next second, his face changed dramatically, and cold sweat flowed. Phew! A stream of blood energy wrapped him up and took him quickly to the dragon tomb. In just an instant, he returned to the entrance of the dragon tomb. Raising his head, Zhang Xian's eyes narrowed. He saw. A mountain-like dragon head appeared in the sky. Above the dragon head, two big blood-red eyes were staring at him. The color of anger was written all over the ancient blood dragon's face. Leader Chen, what should I do? At this time, a voice behind him awakened Chen Daoming. Looking back, he saw Su Yiling and the others all lying on the ground, shivering. Hey! Chen Daoming sighed and looked back at the crowd. I will block it later, you find a chance to escape. Escape? The ancient blood dragon smiled coldly. You want to escape after killing my people? You are all food for this lord. Die, you ants. After saying that, the ancient blood dragon opened his big mouth and sucked hard. Phew, an infinite suction force enveloped several people. Their bodies flew out uncontrollably and flew into the mouth of the ancient blood dragon. Chapter 277. They were about to fly into the ancient blood dragon's mouth. At this moment, clang guqin music could be heard coming from the void. The music started. Bang, the ancient blood dragon shuddered and fell heavily to the ground. Buzz, there was a tremor. The surrounding blood mist collapsed and disappeared without a trace. Young Master has come to save us again. Young Master, you are so good to us. I will never be able to repay young Master's great kindness in this lifetime. The faces of Chen Daoming and the others all showed a touch of emotion. They collected their emotions and sat cross-legged in the sky. They closed their eyes and listened attentively to the music around them. The rhythm was like a small stream, flowing slowly into his soul. After hearing this, he felt an indescribable sense of comfort. At this moment, their strength, realm, state of mind, they were all improving rapidly. Buzz, when Renshire's soul space kept shaking. 3 claw-shaped limbs flew out of his soul space and started to merge with the wounds on his right arm and legs. Under the cover of the zither sound, skin and muscles grew rapidly, covering Renshire's 3 limbs. The severed limb was shaped like a dragon's claw, and it emitted a sharp aura that could tear everything apart. As the sound of the zither rang out, the dragon claw rapidly changed into the shape of a human finger. The 4 claws turned into 4 fingers, and at the same time, a finger appeared. From the outside, they looked no different from normal limbs. When Rensshire didn't move and continued to close his eyes, quietly feeling the changes in his body and his soaring strength. The only one who felt uncomfortable was the ancient blood dragon. Howl, at this moment, it was crawling on the ground, growling from time to time. His voice was mournful and shrill, like the howling of ghosts from hell. Sizzle, wisps of black smoke rose from the ancient blood dragon's body from time to time. Very quickly, the blood energy on his body dissipated completely. Sizzle, its skin was charred black as if it was being roasted. Damn it, stop playing, stop playing! The ancient blood dragon struggled madly. Its huge body rolled on the ground. Everywhere it hit, the mountains on the ground would explode into dust. Not long after, the ancient blood dragon had leveled everything within a radius of 100 miles. It collapsed in the dust, no longer having the strength to struggle. Sizzle, all that was left was the sound of roasting meat. After a while, the sound of the guqin dissipated. The terrifying pressure disappeared completely. The ancient blood dragon recovered a bit of its strength. Damn it, damn it! How could there be such a terrifying person in this world? Who is it? I have never offended you. Why did you hurt me like this? When I recover my strength, I will definitely drag you out, devour your flesh, and gnaw your bones. Finally, I'll turn you into a part of the Supreme One's strength. The ancient blood dragon gritted its teeth and began to recover from its injuries by activating its blood vessels. In the sky, Chen Daoming and the others continued to close their eyes and remained motionless. Everyone's lips curled up into a smile. After a long time, everyone gradually opened their eyes, and endless joy was written all over their faces. I broke through? He became an immortal? Xian Yuanlai muttered to himself, clenching his fists tightly, his body trembling with excitement. For 100,000 years, he had been suppressing his cultivation, not daring to break through to the celestial realm. Who would have thought that after listening to young Master's song, she would break through just like that? He didn't feel any discomfort at all, and he was only one step away from becoming a Xian immortal. That was not the scariest part. There was no immortal tribulation at all. Since ancient times, who didn't need to undergo tribulation to become an immortal? In this world, who could be so terrifying? It seemed that this must be the young master's secret help. Xian Yuan Lai muttered to himself, his face full of gratitude. Beside him, Xian Yuan Shi's excited expression was even more than his. Xian Immortal Realm, I actually broke through 2 realms in a row. Incredible! Thank you, young master. Xian Yuan Shi's body trembled with excitement, and she couldn't calm down for a long time. At the scene, the most excited was Wen Rinshi. Ha ha! Wen Rinshi looked up to the sky and laughed, clenching his hands excitedly. He looked at his limbs in a daze, his face full of disbelief. Sure enough, the young master sent me good fortune again. My right arm and legs feel very unusual. Especially this right arm. I'm afraid I can tear any immortal weapon with my bare hands. Thank you very much, young master. Wen Rinshi muttered to himself, unable to calm down for a long time. Elder One, not bad, you got another amazing good fortune. Su Yiling ran up and looked up and down around Wen Rinshi. Oh, same to you, everyone is the same. Wen Rinshi smiled. Not bad. Chen Daoming nodded with a smile on his face. I feel that listening to the young master's song today has opened the door to the road to the immortal king. What? Everyone stared at Chen Daoming, shocked. The immortal king was not like an immortal. It was 100 times or even 1,000 times more difficult to become an immortal king. The first step to becoming an immortal was to find a suitable great Tao for oneself. The second step was to sense the true meaning of the great Tao and condense the Tao seal between the eyebrows. The third step was to cross the immortal king tribulation, which was the most difficult step, because in front of the immortal king tribulation, immortals were like ants, unable to resist at all. Unexpectedly, Chen Daoming had already opened the door. In this way, had he found a suitable great Tao for himself? Leader Chen, have you chosen a suitable great Tao for yourself? Wen Rinshi asked. Not bad. Chen Daoming nodded with a smile on his face. Actually, I don't have a good choice. Except for the Tao of the blade, I don't know anything else. Leader Chen, the Tao of the blade is more difficult than the Tao of the sword. Are you sure you want to take this path? Wen Rinshi asked. I have decided, no matter how difficult it is, I will not give up. Chen Daoming stroked his silver hair, his eyes full of firmness. Everyone gathered together and talked to each other. Joy was written all over everyone's face. Suddenly, howl! A dragon's roar shook up from the ground, awakening the 5 people. Not dead? Although it is not dead, compared to just now, its strength is less than 10%, and an immortal king can kill it. The young master deliberately left it alive, presumably to give us a test. This time, let me do it. Wen Rinshi stood up, his face full of confidence. Elder One, do you need help? Chen Daoming asked. There's no need for that. Just watch. After speaking, Wen Rinshi stepped on the air with his right leg, instantly disappearing. When he appeared again, he was already standing in front of the ancient blood dragon. Little reptile, tell me, how do you want to die? Wen Rinshi said. As soon as these words came out, the ancient blood dragon stared directly at Wen Rinshi, and its 2 blood-red eyes spewed out monstrous anger. A little ant dares to challenge this sovereign. Today, I will use you to fill my teeth. Ant, come on, become a part of the sovereign's strength. The ancient blood dragon opened its bloody mouth and sucked hard. The endless gale was whistling rapidly. The terrifying suction shrouded Wen Rinshi. Be careful. Everyone saw this scene and roared with worry. Chapter 278. This is impossible. The ancient blood dragon stared at Wen Rinshi in horror. He saw Wen Rinshi standing in front of it, motionless. The devouring just now didn't seem to affect him at all. I don't believe that an ant is a match for me. After saying that, the ancient blood dragon stretched out its right claw and grabbed at Wen Rinshi. Gotcha! The sky seemed to be unable to withstand the might of the dragon claw and shattered like a mirror. The wind howled, its might boundless. In the distance, Chen Daoming and the others saw this scene, and their faces were full of worry. Shit, this move is probably even capable of tearing immortal kings apart. This animal intentionally acted weak, so it turns out that it was accumulating strength in secret. Elder One is in danger. Alliance Leader Chen, what should we do? Let's go help him. It's too late. He can only rely on himself. I hope he can avoid it. Elder One, run! Chen Daoming and the others shouted. However, at such a distance, how could their voices reach Wenrenshir's ears so quickly? Wenrenshir stood motionless as if he was scared silly. Hee hee, little ant, you didn't expect this, right? I condensed this move just to deal with you. You have a shocking power in your body. After I devour you, I might be able to recover 10% of my strength. At that time, who in the tiny purple sun star can stop me? Die! The ancient blood dragon's right claw moved a little faster. The right claw was about to grab Wenrenshir's body. At this moment, Wenrenshir's eyes burst with light, and he unhurriedly stretched out his right hand. What? How is this possible? Caught? He actually grabbed the ancient blood dragon's right claw with his physical body? Unbelievable! Chen Daoming and the others looked at this scene with astonishment. The ancient blood dragon stared blankly at the scene in front of him, unable to come to his senses for a moment. A celestial immortal didn't use any of his power, and just used his physical body to block his attack? Even a dream wouldn't be this scary, right? The next second, the ancient blood dragon's expression changed drastically, and he broke out in a cold sweat. He discovered that his right claw was imbued with a tremendous force. Ouch, ouch, let go! The ancient blood dragon broke out in a cold sweat and cried out in pain from time to time. Let go? Hee hee, Wenrenshir smiled coldly and gently clenched. Gotcha! The sound of bones cracking rang out. The ancient blood dragon's huge right claw was pinched into powder by Wenrenshir and fell on his body like a pool of mud. Howl, a miserable shriek resounded throughout heaven and earth. Ant, you actually dared to injure this exalted one, see if I don't tear you into pieces. The ancient blood dragon looked up to the sky and roared crazily. Blood chi surged from his body and enveloped his entire body. The ancient blood dragon opened its bloody mouth and bit down at Wenrenshir. Hee hee, Wenrenshir smiled slightly, showing a look of indifference. The next second, Wenrenshir looked startled, his face full of shock. They saw. The ancient blood dragon instantly turned around, turned into a stream of light, and rushed into the sky, disappearing in an instant. Not good, it used the blood escape technique to escape. Xian Yuanlai said. Escaped? Hee hee. Wenrenshir smiled slightly and clenched his right arm with his hand. Buzz! His entire right arm transformed into the shape of a dragon claw. Then he waved his dragon claw and grabbed forward. Buzz! The sky shook with layers of ripples, and his right arm penetrated into the void and disappeared. Come back! Wenrenshir roared. Immediately. No, an unwilling roar came from the broken void. Immediately afterward, the ancient blood dragon was caught back by Wenrenshir. However, it changed from a body of 10,000 meters to a length of a few meters. It kept struggling in Wenrenshir's claws. This is the claw of the void, incredible! Elder One is simply too terrifying, this strength is simply amazing! Wenrenzhong, amazing! Chen Daoming and the others stared at Wenrenshir, their eyes flickering with undying light. Wenrenshir looked at the ancient blood dragon in his claws, and the corner of his mouth raised. Say, what are your last words? Last words? Ant, it's you who will leave your last words. This deity is just a clone, don't be proud, don't be arrogant. When this deity descends, it will be the time of your death. Ants tremble for saying these words. Boom! The ancient blood dragon's body exploded into a blood mist and disappeared. Want to escape? Wenrenshir showed a sneer at the corner of his mouth, stretched out his right claw and grabbed forward. A drop of blood was stripped out of the void by him. Spare my life, my lord, I was wrong, spare my life. Don't kill me, really don't kill me. If my deity knows, you won't have a good ending. The blood turned into a miniature version of the blood dragon, constantly begging for mercy to Wenrenshur. Spare my life? Yes. Wenrenshur pinched it with his hand. No, boom, two sounds rang out at the same time. The miniature version of the blood dragon collapsed into powder and disappeared. After killing the ancient blood dragon, Wenrenshur flew back quickly. Elder One, you're amazing. This method is comparable to a first-grade immortal king. Hearing these compliments, Wenrenshur smiled slightly. Everyone is polite, these good fortune, thanks to the young master. Yes. Chen Daoming nodded. Unexpectedly, the young master calculated that Miss Xianyuan and the others were in danger and asked us to come and save them. This is only the first layer of the young master's meaning. The second layer, that is to give Elder One a shocking good fortune. This third layer is to kill the ancient blood dragon. I didn't expect that. I completely misunderstood the young master's meaning. I really feel guilty. Chen Daoming lowered his head, looking dispirited. Leader Chen, the young master is erudite and knowledgeable. How can his intention be so easy to understand? You can comprehend to this extent, it has left us in the dust. Wenrenshur said. Yes, Leader Chen, very powerful. Su Yiling nodded. Thank you for your life-saving grace. Xianyuan Shi stood up and saluted with her fists. I still have something important to see the young master, so I will leave first. Miss Xianyuan, wait. Wenrenshur stopped Xianyuan Shi. Elder One, do you have anything else? Xianyuan Shi asked. Miss Xianyuan, since you want to see the young master, then let's go together. Let me give you a ride. Wenrenshur said. Give us a ride? Xianyuan Shi looked puzzled. We have a flying boat. How slow it is to take a flying boat. Wenrenshur smiled slightly and took 2 steps forward. Then, with a move of his mind, his right arm turned into the shape of a dragon claw, aimed at the front and gently grabbed. Buzz, the space vibrated, and the infinite airwaves kept rotating. Immediately afterward, a teleportation vortex appeared in front of everyone. Enter here, and you can go straight to the Great Demon Mountain. After Wenrenshur finished speaking, he took the lead and walked into the teleportation vortex. The faces of several people changed again, and it took a long time to calm down. Then, they walked into the teleportation vortex in turn and disappeared.